can be a little less somber because things aren't quite so fucking dire as the last 2 weeks. However, depends on who you ask. If you're an anti-fag and you are a terrorist now, then it might actually be kind of dire. As a matter of fact, I hear over on Blue Cry that they are cleaning shop.
You're apoplectic.
Inconsolable, one might even say.
In fact, one Hassan, Hassan,
Ham-ass Piker? Ham-ass Piker?
Yes, Ham-ass Piker. Ham-ass Piker, might say.
The Turk Roach himself. What about him?
Oh, well, he's only out there on the streets, recorded in video, in his Antifa gear and shirt, participating in, quote, direct actions.
That's true. It's funny how many people have said, I am Antifa, and in those exact words.
That said, do we really need to take any Krasenkramp at their word?
Look, if the man says that he is a member of a terrorist organization, I think we should believe him.
That just sounds like he wants easier access to boyfriends in prison. Doesn't he have his brother?
Well,
which one is this? Krasenstein?
Yeah, pick.
I mean, the bottom line is they just the Krasensteins are fascinatingly. They're brilliant. I don't know how to describe them. Like every single time I sit down and
the great scammers.
I think they are like legitimately brilliant. I think they're legitimately brilliant. Like they know their grift, they know who butters their bread, right? Like I'm sure that if the left didn't give them money, but like they are the masters of spin.
But
I have seen some of the
say that a bird is brilliant for
guys.
Flying, though.
But they're consistent.
Just so that. Would you say a bird is brilliant for flying though? I mean, pick a generic flying bird, a dove. Is a dove smart because it can fly?
Well, Craig, would you blame the lion for attacking the gazelle on the North Carolina subway? Wait. Sorry. Never mind.
That's a very different.
Not all that different.
Metaphor.
Nonetheless, let us not ever forget, because it has kind of been lost in a little bit of the shuffle here.
Well, look,
Irina Zarutska. Remember her name.
I was going to say, Irina Zarutska should not have...
But anyway, that's not a segue. That's just a genuine,
reminder.
Please, remember this poor girl. She wanted... She wanted to be an American citizen, and her fucking family would rather that she be buried here because she would have wanted that. Let your heart break over and fucking over hearing that. But anyway, well, let's get back to positive news. With Portland Antifa, they are, again, apoplectic. They are erasing everything, deleting everything on Blue Sky.
The sad thing is, that's not going to help. Sadly, that's not going to help.
Well, it's federated, don't you know? On Blue Sky. Yep. They have alerted their comrades to scrub any and all evidence and to, quote, lawyer up. Elisa Azar has even deleted her account, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to say. Whatever you want to call it. Kind of a noteworthy person. So, let me just read a post here from Starving Dog Eats Master. I wonder if they voted for the...
Oh, that's a metaphor, not...
Yeah, no, it makes it. Well, I just wonder if they voted for the Leopards and Faces Party, as we know that the Leopards and Faces are friendly.
The Leopards Eating Faces Party?
Yeah, you can say that. You could say that, first against the wall. Anyway, the first post is a link to a number of things referencing Donald Trump's tweet or truth or whatever it's truth. Okay, it says retruth on it. So Donald Trump's thing that he posted on Truth saying that Antifa is domestic and major a terrorist organization. Just by the by, we're all still holding out on that foreign and or international terrorist organization so that we can
I was going to say the foreign designation is
the full throated response. That said, I've got some news, but
first, that's the one that's designated in law. Domestic terrorist organization
hasn't really been hashed out yet. That said, we
that's
will get to the modern day John Brown of domestic terror. Oh, we will. because he is such the modern day John Brown. He really is. But we'll get to that. We'll get there. All in due time. So, the first post here is, it's time to delete any social media posts referring to Antifa. The Trump government is coming for you.
Everyone who says that is just giving evidence to court that they intend.
I am deleting evidence because it mentions Antifa. Oh, are you? Well, that's an interesting decision. Anyway.
Nice self-report there, genius.
Right? Yeah. Self-owns, as it were. Big F's in chat for the anti-fags.
Not helping with terrorists. Not help with the terrorist accusations, and then you're going to go ahead and commit a second crime.
Mm-hmm.
You do that. And if it goes
the funny thing about evidence, when it's demanded
evidence
by a court, is that when you delete that evidence, the court is legally obliged to assume that the evidence that was destroyed was the most incriminating evidence possible. This is their legal obligation to make that assumption. You have to. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been deleted, right? But just to put it in the simplest of terms, it is actually a legal obligation if evidence that has been asked to be saved and preserved is deleted or destroyed. The juries are instructed to assume that information was injurious to the party responsible. Anyhow, reading on. Lawyer up. I cannot stress this enough. And strap up. Ooh, that's a spicy one. The off-duty badge and their piss boy cosplay fascist goons will be real emboldened. Wow. Arm yourself while you still can. God damn. Arm yourself while you still can and train. Whew. Have a bug-out bag and a safe house? Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
Because the thing is, a lot of this stuff is advice that anybody should follow in general, like having a bug-out bag.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to defend yourself.
Sure, although this is less defend yourself and more
a bad thing.
Well,
yes. You see, that's the thing. Is there's a difference.
There's a difference between defending yourself and defending yourself against imaginary Nazi fascists that don't exist.
Well, see,
proactively.
First to give the common so you can make the comparison, then you do the contrast, right? Compare, contrast.
Alrighty, yeah.
So that's the.
But anyway, I'm not even finished with the second post of 3. Anyway,
go ahead.
Arm yourself while you still can and train, have a bug-out bag and a safe house, and be ready to tear ass out of town at a moment's notice. I'm not going to say that that's suspicious, other than that that's incredibly fucking suspicious. Anyway, third.
Well, it goes with having a bug-out bag.
Well, yeah. I mean, in general, not the worst advice. In context, not the worst advice. I mean, if you're a terror monger and you're wanting to monger some terror, you're not going to be able to do it from behind bars. So, fair enough. Anyway, third post. Lawyer up. I cannot stress this enough. Also, they'll shoot your dogs in the raid. Okay, look. I am not the friend of these people. I am their enemy. But when a valid point is made, it is necessary that I point out this is accurate.
Well,
and yes,
at least
your dog's probably going to get shot.
Burning down their house.
Also, your dog could get burned down. Don't think you're a Dorner and can't be cornered. So, just exit that thought from your mind. Anyway, also, they'll shoot your dogs in the raid. Cops have even shot fucking cats. Quote, I thought it might have been rabies. Okay, well, that's unlikely, but possible.
Well,
fair, but anyway. Offload your pets, your valuables, and your heirlooms to a trusted, safe location where they can remain indefinitely if needed. And then the account was deleted.
The cop point of view on that is, I'm going home tonight. I don't care if you are.
Kinda.
Which I can't really fault them entirely on. I mean, the killing a dog automatically is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
But I want to go home to my family is not ridiculous.
No, that's actually quite a reasonable desire and expectation of any given individual.
Yeah, and one that I would not expect a person who is currently panic posting on Blue Sky to understand, given most of them do not have families, at least not that they speak to anymore, and certainly not that they've made on their own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't really reproduce, they recruit.
Having kids is anti-climate change, right?
Exactly.
You know, on that note, just as a real quick, it appears that poor Greta has been removed from the flotilla.
Yes, and why was that? And also, some of her crew abandoned.
But I don't know quite everything about it because I didn't really see much follow up.
So about half her crew abandoned, and it was the Muslim half. And why was that?
I don't know. They were eating bacon?
Because they found out there were fags on board.
Oh, well, okay, that makes sense.
The Alphabetterati.
Oh, did they have some queers for Palestine on board?
Oh, they did. They had some.
I can see how that would cause.
Now, and here's the thing: is
issue with some of the hard language.
They didn't understand what they were getting into, and then they found out that was that was the case, and then they decided that they were not going to be on a haram ship.
Well,
and so that was that.
Well, that was only part of the problem there, right? Like, Greta got kicked off the ship because basically she's an attention whore, and they all kind of got sick of it.
They got tired of the schism, and then they tried to keep going, and it didn't work out because one of them found out that another one liked putting penis inside and around his mouth.
And
then in and around her mouth.
His,
but
as opposed to the Iranian option where the his becomes a hers. So
Yeah.
Anyway. Greta is out, and all I can say is hit me up.
Well, what's the next thing she's going to
I think it's not too late. Greta, at that fake guy Dan, hit me up. Come on the show. Come visit. We'll get some coffee, see how things work out, and we'll go from there. But anyway.
I don't think she's going to be into you, dude.
Look, I think it's not too late. Okay? Look. Sometimes some things are worth saving.
I think she would be a fascinating guest.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. I would be more than happy to have her on as a guest. Completely, coffee date aside. Still out there, Greta.
See, here's the struggle that I have is I suspect that I can't stand people who are just like attention whores. I just can't stand them. Like, I'm an attention whore.
I can't stand them, but I can make fun of them.
There's like a limit to my attention whoringness, and most of the people who like get famous for being famous are like on a whole other plane of narcissism than I can even comprehend, and I think I'm a pretty big fucking self-loving motherfucker.
Well, yes, but you weren't a Hilton.
You know what? Paris doesn't love herself. Other people love her.
On video, even.
We found that out by camera.
Yep. That's true.
That is a fair thing.
Speaking of cameras, and on topic, we should probably mention this one because it was caught on camera. Of course, everybody knows the notorious Ice Cube, who notorious rapper, of course, gangsta rapper. And he is out there representing
Mission to Mars
on his
Mission to Mars,
tour.
Ghost of Mars.
Yeah, also that. Yeah, I think amongst other things. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, he did not. He did need to bring his AK, but did not. And unfortunately, his tour bus was firebombed by Antifa because they saw ice and were like, "Ice, kill, burn, hate." And
I wonder how many gas stations have had major fires just outside the doors.
One has to wonder. Well, that's the thing. It's like they've got the two, generally two, sometimes even more, the big, ice things where you can put the migrant in there to freeze to death. They've usually got and they've got locks on them so that you can lock a migrant in the ice chest. And is that right? I don't know.
Is this an AOCism or is this just a genuine morbid thought?
I don't even know anymore. All right, so any fucking way. Oh, jeez, there is kind of a lot to really cover on this, so I guess we should probably just cut straight to the chase and bring it back to old Stephen Miller, one of the hardest hard asses that was ever a hard ass.
Oh, yes.
So to quote the man himself, this is just yesterday, about 24 hours ago as of recording, we are witnessing domestic terrorist sedition against the federal government. The Joint Terrorism Task Force has been dispatched by the Attorney General pursuant to an NSPM 7. All necessary resources will be utilized. That's a big fucking deal.
Sent to Oregon.
That's a big fucking deal. Not just that, actually. Current statements are that this will be going out to assist any and all ICE agents United States wide.
Specifically, the specific point is for the Oregon case is that all any necessary use of force is authorized. Meaning, if they start showing up with guns to try and shoot the U.S. military forces that are sent out there at basically as a security detail, they'll be treated like the insurgents they are. They will get Afghanistan.
As well they deserve.
They will get the Iraqi door knock, if you will.
Well, and Craig and I were talking about this earlier. I'm a big civil liberties man, but there's a limit, right? And the left has proven that civil liberties requires all of society to be kind of in agreement that people who break the law need to be punished.
A social contract, as it were.
It's a social contract. And we're like the modern left has decided to abandon that. And what do you do? Like, what do? You can either turn around and let them kill you, or you acknowledge that that we have a problem and we have to just go kind of oust it from society.
See, the funny thing is, they keep talking about martial law, and they keep doing this self-fulfilling prophecy kind of shit to try and make it happen. So they can go back and later and say, yeah, Trump was the bad guy. The problem is, if that does get enacted, it's not going to be Trump that's the bad guy. They're going to massively miscalculate that one, because it's going to be very fucking obvious who the bad guy is. Like, I don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, It's going to be very simple.
Yeah, it is it's very much a here we are.
There's too good to understand that's what's going to be the case. And it's just all it's going to do is cause a lot of pain and suffering for other people, and then they're going to get their asses kicked.
Speaking of pain
and I'm not
going
to give a flying fuck about their screams, because I've heard what makes them cheer.
Truly. But, on that specific note, we should probably mention this out of Fox News, out of California. On October 7th, 2023, there was an attack against Dibbity-Ba, you already know. And there was a fella in California that firebombed some police vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's come back. And it has come back harsh and fair, in my opinion. The arsonist has a 19-year prison sentence now.
Good.
Acknowledging that the attacks were inspired by Hamas and their attack on Israel, and one way or the other, whatever the fuck you care about or whatever the fuck you think, he's a terrorist supporter that did an act of terror in support of a terrorist organization. And I will quote from the article here. At sentencing, the court referred to Goonan as a, quote, domestic terrorist and found that he had committed a felony offense that involved or was intended to promote a federal crime of terrorism. Simply put, and he did plead guilty to one count of maliciously damaging or destroying property.
Okay.
Et cetera, et cetera. And then,
I suppose there wasn't a whole lot he could do.
This, that, and the other. Guilty. It changes nothing, really. The fact of the matter is, domestic terror is a very, very real issue and it must be considered. Period. No matter where you fall on this, like, obviously the two of us disagree on some kind of core issues, but at the same time, Hamas is a terrorist organization and cannot be trusted to do anything other than do terror.
I think we're pretty well on the same page when it comes to people doing terrorism inside the country.
Yeah, well, especially our own.
And again, right? Like yes, my wife, I think I consider more closer to a normie on this stuff because she's not deeply involved in the internet. And while she's not a Charlie Kirk fan, she is she is explicitly stated that they are engaged in terrorism, explicitly disavows anything associated with the left, and she's like dug in on Instagram and all these other things that are explicitly left wing. So she's not left wing, but the normie take is that the left is currently engaged in terrorism. And while she doesn't like the things that the right are doing, she also understands kind of why they're happening. And that's an important thing.
It truly is. Yeah. And that's the thing.
The
it's
fact
like
that there's a rational basis.
You can only turn the cheek. You can only turn the other cheek so many times until you run out of cheeks.
Well,
you know?
I gotta go ahead. Let me go ahead and pause you on that one because funny thing about that phrase, the reason that Jesus said to turn the other cheek is that the Roman Empire, it was an act of basically you struck someone below your station with the back of your hand. You struck someone at or above your station with the front of your hand. And so to turn the other cheek was an act of defiance, saying you must strike me as your equal, effectively.
Oh, there you go.
You know, just FYI. Interesting one. Although, you know, the common narrative on that is genuinely not a bad thing. It's just that it happens that there is the historical context that has been lost over the centuries.
Oh, that's fair.
So to strike a slave with the back of your hand was normal, and to strike a slave with the front of your hand was to acknowledge that they were your equal.
Well, there you
go. But shit gets lost in translation, right?
So much does. Now then,
I always figured it had something to do with butt cheeks. Figured he was an anal guy.
Who knows? Who knows? So, speaking of anal guys, we have got something new, actually, from... and this is probably all we're ever going to fucking get out of this goddamn spook show. But we have got some new footage of Matthew Crooks. Thomas Matthew Crooks. Who in the fuck is that, you say? You've already long ago forgotten that name, because what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania? Nothing. Nothing happened there. Entirely circumstantial, you know, just magical.
Depending on who you listen to, God saved the president or something too.
So yeah, we don't talk about that
of one variety or another,
or nobody talks about that because it's all uncomfortable for everyone except for evangelicals or whatever. Anyway, we've got some footage of Thomas Matthew Crooks doing some dry fire drills in a very plain room.
Don't say.
And the only thing in the background of this incredibly plain room is a Marvel poster, which, of course. So, that's your update. That is literally everything we have fucking found out about this goddamn Phantom.
I would argue that there's probably a little bit more significance there because whoever released that is probably going to release more.
One hopes. Yeah. One hopes. But, I mean, that said, this guy is such an absolute fucking mystery.
Put your hope in one hand and shit in another, right?
Yep. Oh, hey, on that note, big update on EVs out of China. Don't know if you guys saw this. They have got a big safety update for upcoming EVs. Those new electrical EVs, don't know if you saw the video. They've got a safety feature that is going to protect those specific vehicles very, very well. Those very specific and only those vehicles from BYD
every other
and
vehicle
other Chinese
gas
manufacturers.
station, etc.
Oh, God forbid you're anywhere fucking nearby. God for fucking good.
What is this?
Okay, so they've got a new safety feature.
I tell you, they said it's safe.
It is. It's quintuple safe. So
you are
gonna love this. You know how dangerous lithium-ion batteries can be when they go off. You know, they're just gonna
no
burn
different than any other fuel tank.
Yeah. I mean,
specifically a shorted lithium-ion battery.
Yeah, you know, once they go, they're gone, and
especially if it's
kind of a bear.
Especially if it's like 200 kilograms of battery.
Yeah,
that'd be really bad news.
You know, like car-sized battery, you know, or home-sized battery, since the two are fairly similar. But you take one of those, you know, when they go run away, which, you know, obviously not super frequent, but when it happens, it's a pretty big deal.
It's an enthusiastic moment for you.
It is.
You're enthusiastically shitting yourself and running at the same time.
You know, it's an energetic happening. You could definitely say, very energetic. So, the Chinese have got a problem. Well, problems have solutions, my friends. If you got a giant, burning, runaway lithium-ion battery, what do you do with it? Well, you get it away from you, of course.
You make it someone else's problem.
That's exactly what you do, brother. You put a fucking ejection seat on that bitch, and you shoot it out of there at fucking 40 miles fucking hour, as far and as fast as it will fucking go.
Flaming battery.
Oh, China is the safest.
You make it someone
place.
Else's shitty day at the same time.
Love it.
Nothing. It's a Calvin and Hobbes moment. Nothing cures. Sorry, nothing. Nothing improves misery like spreading it.
Misery loves company. So
that's pretty great.
I'll go ahead and I'll throw a link to an article from
it's
Inside
hilarious.
EVs.
It's like they put a couple shotgun shells behind the thing.
Oh yeah,
it just goes, bang.
It's fucking fierce. It goes. It's like that fucker's burning, and they
I gotta tell you,
there
are people who, like Will Smith, would not be able to resist pressing the little red button. You know, just Timmy, now is your opportunity. Press the little red button. Bang!
The shiny red button. You know you want to press it. But, yeah.
God, there's going to be people going down the highway who are going to accidentally discharge that thing. It's just, like, the problem is, like, it is an instant shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other side of it. Like, here's the other, think of it like this. There are other safety features. Think of this. There's other safety features, like, you know, the fact that the brakes might be locked into the closed position around the rim. Sorry, around the plates when the vehicle is off. You know, any of those kind of like weird safety features that just kind of were tossed in there to make it sound better for the people who are judging it. All of those, like the insurance people are judging it, like all of those kind of things are going to be instantly activated the moment that the vehicle locks up. Ejects the battery. It also, you know, while this thing is on fire potentially or smoking and ready to catch fire, you know, if you're near a gas station, it ejects out quite far. You know, he said like 40 miles an hour. That's probably not a bad estimate.
No, that from what I understand, it's like 30 to 50.
Yeah, it's like so. Like
it is a powerful motion. On that note, I mean, you know, let's say you're at one of these gas stations. You know, you might be fueling up your car. You could be like, he thought there could be EVs around. He hated EVs.
Like it's enough to cross at least 2 lanes of traffic, and probably like the 3 or 4 needed to go through into the gas station. It's ridiculous. Now, as far as safety features go for the people inside the car, I could see it.
Yeah, no, great for you inside the car. Fucking yeah.
It'd probably be shit for your insurance premiums for the next 100 years. But I could see it. But again, it's a very Chinese solution to just make it someone else's problem.
Well, you know, problems have solutions.
Well,
they truly do. They truly do. If we are but willing to embrace them. Oh, speaking of problem with the solution, I've got a cool scientific update for everybody listening. This one, of course, comes out Science. You fucking know it. This one comes out of Life News HQ, at Life News HQ on X.
So, kind of science.
Well, it's based
Probably science.
Well, it's based on a recent study.
Sometimes they do not do good science.
Well, it's not so much the science they did, more the, just an observation based on...
Sometimes they report very badly on science, too.
Fair.
I'm hoping it's good. Anyway, let me stop burying the lead.
Well, in this case, it's something that's not really going to surprise anybody, and a medical expert confirms that unborn children feel excruciating pain during abortions. Imagine that, being torn limb from limb.
Is that what all the squirming is?
Might have a little something to do with that,
Is that why suddenly there's a lot of specific hormones released out into the blood in the mother too?
Yeah, like what are they called? The ones that let you know that there's danger and bad things are happening and something must be done immediately. Those kind of hormones.
Well, there's those. There's also the significant number of pain. What the fuck are they called? I'm gonna tip the tongue myself on this. Doesn't matter. Anywho, yeah, there's been good evidence for a very long time, more or less since the beginning, since before abortion was legalized in really any place. Like, we knew that babies could feel pain, and that when they feel pain, the mother can feel pain too. Like, there's a sympathetic stress response.
Indeed.
So, like, it's not just that it's bad, for the kid you're killing, but the mother whose baby you're killing also is going to be significantly traumatized physiologically by that. Which, hey, that may be why they all have horrible regrets.
And in a...
aside from the whole losing a baby thing.
Yeah. And in a related note that has been kind of a talking point a bit for forever, is we actually finally have some hard science on the number of partners affecting the self and the further generations. That being that every man that is with a woman leaves a marker with that woman.
Well, not a marker so much as a bunch of cells.
DNA, yeah. And what happens with that? Well, that's really kind of not...
Whole active cells. Here's the important reason I say this. It is not the sperm that cause any kind of microchimerism in the partner, the woman. It is fetal cells from a developing child that cause that. It's not every man. It's every man who has a baby with her, even if she kills it later.
Fair.
So it's fewer than it sounds like at the first go. But yes, that is true. And that's been true for a very long time. That's been well known.
It's been true for forever. It's just now that we can
the PUA thing where it's like every single man who ever deposits inside her, it's like, okay, yeah, okay. But that's not true because you guys misread that.
Well, fair. That said,
yeah. Now, we don't have a clear picture on what exactly all those cells do, but they do hit just about every single organ, includes the brain.
Mm-hmm. And since
they persist until they persist until well after birth. We don't have an exact number on that because we haven't checked that many years later. You can imagine how it would be kind of weird to have somebody approached after they just buried their mother saying, "Hey, so can we cut her brain open? And can we have a sample of your skin,
right,
or bone marrow?"
Could be a bit of an odd conversation,
right? So let's just say that we haven't checked through death, but like 5 years after is plausible.
Now that said, we should actually have answers for these questions by now, but unfortunately, the entire fucking topic has been verboten until lately. Like we could have asked these questions in the 50s and 60s, and now we can again because it actually, as you say, is finally important to women's health again.
Well, that's the thing. It should have been the entire time. It really is a health question for women because here's a good one for you. Why is it more likely for women who have had children to have breast cancer? Would it just be the fact that they've they've weaned a child, they've had to actually have functional use of those organs, or would it be because of something else? Like what kinds of cancer are associated with microchimerism from having a kid?
Sure, or on a fairly,
and that would be
or on a
that would be
well,
a uniquely
not fairly,
female problem.
but on a related note, I mean, like hepatitis, hepatitis B and C, being something that you vaccinate a baby for. How did you get that again?
Yeah.
Needles and sex? What? Anyway, moving on beyond that.
Well,
there are more, but it's not the most.
Those are bloodborne, but
things.
Hey, hold on a second. Those are bloodborne, but can easily be transmitted while doing stuff like rough play on the playground at school. If some kid bites another kid, you can get blood transfer and infection.
You can, but the thing is, that's not really
that is a vector.
Not the best population to look to if you're looking for high infectivity.
Well, we've gotten a pretty good handle on those diseases of late, which is good.
That we have. But on a completely and directly related note, and possibly
I'm gonna offer the following.
What you got?
I've talked about it before.
Go on.
I have no problem with vaccines. Of course, I have some questions about medical testing, but vaccination, mass vaccination, large-scale distributed vaccination, any one of those kinds of policies, I think that is a reasonable approach. However, we should always be having a routine and recurring, at least once every 5 years, discussion on relative risk and accessible risk.
Sure.
And if your use case and your vector case is a 1 in a million transmission, we should not be sitting there and saying, because of a 1 in a million chance, we're here. Like we know what we talked a lot about risk with COVID. We did. And I think it's time we should revisit that in terms of proportional risk. Generally, if it's a 1 in 1,000 chance of risk, people find that to be an acceptable. Anything that's less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of risk is what's considered an acceptable life risk in general, right? Acceptable life risk means we do some things, but we're not going to go whole hog on it, right?
Put seatbelts in cars.
Seatbelts in cars, yeah, stuff like that. That's kind of in the PPE zone, right? But we're not going to go for engineered controls, right? We're not going to go for administrative controls. We're not going to go for engineered controls. We're not going to go for any of the other hierarchy stuff, substitution, elimination, any of those things. The vector by which a child receives a bite on a playground and gets Hep B from that bite is way outside the 1 in 1,000 parameter. We should not be sitting there and engaged in an engineering control, which would be vaccines, for a way less than 1 in 1,000 chance. And that's kind of the problem.
That's locally, just for a moment, that's relatively local to adolescents. It's a lifetime risk that is assessed for that. And I would say that comes with the you have to ask, okay, what's the chance they're going to start engaging in activities where there's an increased risk?
Sure.
Well beyond say a bite mark on the playground. And I'd say, okay, well, most humans are going to want to, at least, if not participate in sexual activity. That is a much higher risk regardless. You can make claims about when it's going to be more likely to cause blood transfer, like, for instance, anal sex versus vaginal sex, etc. Fair,
right?
But if you're going to talk about life, like if with the hepatitis vaccines, Hep B in particular, like the goal is lifetime immunity and in theory for that one without boosting.
Yeah, except there's a couple problems with your lifetime immunity theory, right? One is the Hep B vaccine has an estimated efficacy of 6 to 7 years. So the window of application should be, associated risk within 6 to 7 years. And again, right, that's not to say that you can't get it as a fully functional adult. I don't tend to engage in high-risk sexual behaviors. And if I was presented the option at 18, I would probably not take it.
Because I will totally forget about this if I don't mention it now. is that a lot of 18 to 21 and 22-year-olds are now going out and getting the full spectrum of vaccines if they've come, not all, but some that have come out of vaccine-hesitant households are going out and just getting everything. Why did that disconnect?
Okay.
Weird.
Well,
whatever.
And that's a choice. You're free to make that choice. The question ultimately, in terms of like,
why are we disconnected? Whatever.
Again, I don't have an issue with vaccines. If people want to offer them, you want to make a case for lifetime usage, I think that's a great sales argument. That is a perfect thing where you can turn around and say, hey, this is great. There is a whole different kettle of fish when it comes down to government mandates, right? I'm not saying that you can't vaccinate your kid.
Shit.
I'm also saying that doctors should be rational and reasonable and not be sitting there and pushing for things unless there's an associated risk. But I absolutely think that if you want to sell people your medical product on it's like a vaccine or something like that, by all means. But let's not turn around and have it be a mandated public health thing.
Absolutely.
Unless it's like, again, right, it's a risk benefit thing. What's your risk? If your risk is less than a 1 in 1,000 chance, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Like if you're
right.
Like if
and
your
again,
danger
there's certain
is
things
something along the lines of 0.00963, then it would not be prudent to say mandate
something like that.
An mRNA technology masquerading as a vaccine to people. For instance,
just as getting into the weeds on that, to make the point that you're trying to make specifically. There are parts of, say, Colombia, where I have to go visit my girlfriend, where it would be prudent for me to get the dengue fever vaccine.
Absolutely.
Whereas for the and which is the reason why the vaccine schedule card, the card you use for international vaccination records, is called the yellow card, or at least it was called the yellow card. That's why it's a yellow document, is because of yellow fever. And which I would not need to get vaccinated for unless I was going to, I think it's like 2 or 3 countries in Africa at this point.
We'll call you Johnny D.
Right.
So, and part of the reason why that's still an issue over there actually is because doctors over there will sell their signature to put on the vaccine card. For like $100, you get a vaccine signature saying you're not going to get yellow fever. And it's cheaper to do that than to pay for the vaccine over there, which is ridiculous.
And now, speaking of having a fever and paying for it, we should probably dig a little bit deeper into Colombia and not just the marching powder that can be found.
Because there was a recent event, wasn't there?
There was a person from Colombia who may or may not be important. Some people call him Petro Gustavo. He could be the president. I don't know. Maybe I hear that he's important.
Oh, he was legitimately elected to be president of that country by a bunch of illegitimate people, as in retards.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You could. I have zero doubt that there is a Kiwi Farms thread on him because, let's be real. But anyway,
probably right.
But anyway, we should probably quote him in that. Cocaine is no worse than whiskey and is only illegal because it comes from Latin America, said Colombian President Gustavo Petro.
Yes, that was the one big one, but he had another thing he said recently which was worse.
Well, it's not so much what he said in specific as to what it comes down to. And he was out on the streets. He wasn't exactly having conversations, you might say, with the local populace.
He's a guest in our country saying shit out of his ass.
He was indeed a guest in our country, and he was not participating in local fun time events, but more local not fun time events. He was actually joining, I believe, some anti-ICE protesters, but I'm not 100% sure. But he was joining some protesters, and he said that the U.S. military should not do what it's doing. That said, they should actually defect and break their oaths, etc.
Yeah, he wants a military coup,
etc. And well,
and so again,
we're not
the guy is a guest in our country is being fucking seditious.
A guest in our country because he had he had some things to say, and the Department of State, being the Department of State, said, "What, nigga? What? Excuse the fuck out of me? No, you don't." And that said, they revoked his visa, and he is back on the way.
Sent his ass home.
Take your shit and get packing.
Keep in mind, this is the same guy who rolled over like a little bitch when we told him he needs to get his fucking people out of our country stat. And he said, "Okay, Mr. President, I'll send my planes."
Mm-hmm.
You want me to go ahead and give your boot a nice lick before I send them?
And speaking of taking your licks, we should probably, since we're in the South America vicinity, probably dig into that a little bit. Because another drug boat flying out of Venezuela got iced. Ba-boom, boom, 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 boom. The end.
Fuck them.
And the current sentiment from at least the top is...
They're going to start taking a note out of Hamas, and they're going to start putting women and children on them so they can start yelling at us.
Probably.
Don't listen. Just blow them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking horrible to have to say that.
It is. That's true.
It's the only solution. The only way to win that game is to call their bluff and to make them look like the asshole instead of you. Because they really are the asshole in that situation. Human shields should not be a detriment for us taking out terrorists. We should try and do our best to get those people the help that they need. But at the end of the day, we have to protect our country. There's many more people involved here who are dying. You know, when it comes to like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people dying from drug overdoses versus 2 people on a boat, that is
fuck it. Let's say 5 to fucking 10.
Those choices.
5 to 5. Let's say there's 10. There's 10 fucking Venezuelan Trinidad fucking drug runners on that fucking piece of shit cigarette boat.
I don't care if it's more than. I don't care if it's one citizen here. It should not be a question we have to answer for.
Yeah, the only question
who actually did a very good take. Who had a good take on this? I don't know if you guys watch America Uncovered.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar. I watch China Uncensored. Yeah. So, same people. Good peoples.
Yeah,
Do you recommend to follow. Very, very solid channels, both.
Solid channel. They do their research. They present their documents. They try to be... I don't know if I would say they're
not fair.
A more honest Daily Show would be an accurate representation, I think.
If the Daily Show
strove for honesty before comedy, I would say that is
a drier comedy.
Yeah. Well, it's like if the Daily Show didn't put comedy first and didn't put position first and put truth and the message first and then follow up with the comedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the comedy show version of what's it, NTD? That's out of Hong Kong, or not out of Hong Kong, out of Taiwan.
Something like that, or like Voice of America Radio.
I think it's NTD.
But yeah.
Either way, they did a very good breakdown of Venezuela as a narco state, and it was basically the argument that who's correct in this, and their short version is it's not like officially aligned, but it's very unofficially aligned, and high-level people all throughout the government are like directly involved in the cartels and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, transnational too.
Mm-hmm.
They got bank accounts in other countries for a reason.
Not inaccurate.
It isn't just having private assets. It's not just having some private house there. It's for specific reasons.
Oh yeah, no, asset protection and resource protection, by and large.
Yeah, and how they get paid, part of it too.
Well, the money has to flow, as it were.
Yeah. You
can't buy those precursors without cash. Bitcoin.
exactly.
What have you. That said, his visa has been revoked by the Department of State. Of course,
So sad.
Petro Gustavo.
Good riddance.
And that's going to be somewhat troublesome for future UN visits. Yes, that was a segue. So, speaking of the UN, there was a person who visited there very recently. You may be familiar with him. His name's Donald. And some things happened.
Donald?
Yeah, Donald Trump, actually. I don't know. You may or may not have heard about him. He's a guy that was in Home Alone.
I'm Sheboygan.
You know, or Verklempt, perhaps even. But yeah. But yeah, so he went to visit and, of course, walked in the front door with his security detail, Secret Service security detail, which, if I'm entirely honest, dropped the fucking ball. Because he walked in the front door, got on the escalator, and something happened. Why and how, we have yet to have.
My guess is it was a routine mechanical
answers.
failure.
I would think
well,
it was not
the published finding is that the readout of the escalator showed that the emergency stop button was activated at the top of the stairs, and so it's likely that the individual who stopped the escalator was actually his photographer, and he accidentally hit the button at the top of the stairs.
I would like it to be something so absolutely benign.
Well,
I would like that very much.
I think I'd be willing to bet you it was.
That sounds like it would be the thing that happened.
That is possible. That said, I am utterly and completely unwilling to dismiss these things in the current climate.
Sure.
Until I see something concrete, I don't know. And personally, I think that's fair considering.
It's appropriate to wait for a better forensic analysis of the scenario.
Yeah.
But, we can be honest with, that's a plausible explanation at the very least.
It is. And it's
far
not
more
unreasonable
plausible than explanations that have been given in the past for other things.
I would be willing to bet you it's correct. I think the big story here has actually less to do with the fact that it happened, right? Like a plausible explanation, very likely given the circumstance and series of events. I think the bigger thing is that the left pretended that they didn't understand why that was a security concern.
That's
fair. I think the more interesting.
That's a completely fair assessment, but I would like to add some info to it. Because a lot of folks don't realize the significance of something like this. If this were an orchestrated event, you have someone with a scope and a high-powered weapon that is tracking the movement of an individual. A moving target is a harder target than a still target. And you only need a moment. One moment in time is all it takes.
That begs the question, did Secret Service give them cover?
There's the other thing, they did not. They just stood there like a bunch of fucking bumfuck goddamn dodos with their fucking hands in their fucking pockets looking at the damn sky like a bunch of fucking chickens ready to drown in the fucking rain. And that is utterly unacceptable. That cannot be allowed.
So, when's the new training set?
One has to wonder. Because we are well the fuck out of date. Well past and well beyond anything reasonable and acceptable. So, yeah. There's that. So, all things aside, this is an enormous security failure from every aspect. That it happened in the first place for whatever reason, be it benign, be it malign, be it entirely circumstantial. The response, not acceptable. Those boys should have corralled him, got him down, and had some weapons out, realistically. Because in the current climate...
weapons aren't going to help in that kind of... So it's not CQB, so...
we don't know that. That's the thing. We don't know that it's not.
Sure. Okay.
So the proper response is to assume the worst. And what's the worst that happens there? They draw weapons, things get complicated, and people are very tense, and then they go on up the stairs. That's all that happens, because we are, at the end of the day, we are dealing with professional individuals whose job it is to protect people. We're not talking about a bunch of fucking Chicago Bloods or Crips, a bunch of fucking Detroit thugs, or even a bunch of fucking Trinidad. We're talking about people whose job it is, from the moment they wake to the moment they sleep, to protect. And they are trained in this. Now, have we seen some serious fucking failures in this? Yes. Most certainly. But, and case in point. Case in fucking point. He should have been down, and he should have been surrounded, and he was not. And I hope that this seemingly benign incident is a learning lesson for these people, because they have failed on multiple occasions, on multiple fronts. Sloped fucking roofs? Are you fucking serious? But, yeah. So, that said, hey Bats, welcome to the show. But, again, that said, it is a wild time in which we find ourselves. But anywho, crazy Colombian presidents aside, joint terrorism task force alerts being issued.
Yeah, JTTF going after them
that's actually very big. Like that is for real. Something is happening.
They don't fuck around.
They don't.
Thankfully.
They truly don't. And speaking of not fucking around, this is one that has been a long time coming. We reported on this, as a matter of fact, early on in the show, probably within the first year, about a number of federal agents who decided that a dead man who pawned off a fucking counterfeit $20 bill was worthy of their utmost respect, and at his golden fucking coffin chose to kneel. Those FBI agents that were photographed kneeling at the 2020 George Fentanyl Floyd protests have been fired. Good.
Now, you see, here's the thing with that. They have every right to do that.
I agree.
They have no right. They have no right to do that as federal employees.
Mm-hmm.
On the clock.
And they were wearing their pretty colors that very day.
It's I would say that in the FBI and CIA, etc., like, you put the uniform on, you put the badge on, your politics turn off. They fucking well should.
That shit stays at the fucking door.
Unlike the military, where you don't actually get to have your politics back until you leave the service. You get to have them back when you go home at night. When you clock out, that's when you get to go ahead and spout off.
Yeah, actually, when you're an employee and not property, because literally that's what you are, but when you're an employee and not property, you have some leeway.
Well, you become not you become not the employee when you clock out for the day.
Yeah, you clock out and you go home, and you're at home.
Yeah. Even if you're in your full kit, if you clock out and you walk out in the parking lot at your office building, fine. It's not. I would say it's crass, but if you're a federal employee, knock yourself out. We're gonna laugh at you, but tough
as soon as you're no longer acting in an official duty. I would agree that wearing the uniform is kind of on the fringe. It's kind of inappropriate.
Exactly.
Depending on what you're doing, if you're filmed in the thing, like, you could absolutely make the argument that it's like political endorsement of a certain thing or whatever else. And so there is probably some disciplinary action that would be required if you were wearing your uniform doing it. But that's not the same thing as firing somebody. Like, saying, hey, bud, you fucked up. It's all right.
And on the note
I understand how you feel, and
oh yeah.
Like I'll give it to them though. I'll give it to them if it's like even if they're still in their kit and their uniform, etc., and they're in the parking lot of the fucking building they work in. If they're off the clock and it's like well known that they're off the clock, like fine, whatever, no argument. Table that for another time. The cutoff line is: are you in your official capacity? Like that's got to be a hard cut.
And on that note,
and
on the note of official capacity, there's another matter that we must absolutely address. Oh yes, a matter
not an issue,
involving January and 6 days, and a certain disclosure by a certain federal bureau that does investigations.
Here's the thing that someone brought up, which I thought was very interesting. Because they're right.
Let me just break this.
Even if Trump had gotten in, we wouldn't have known. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, please do expand on this. But the most important point is 2. 2 plus 2 equaling 4. So the FBI disclosure is there's conflicting numbers. It might be 277. It might be 273. Whatever. Might be 275.
Okay.
The FBI disclosure is that there were 275 plainclothes agents in January 6th crowds more than 4.5 years ago. And this is something that just literally came out 2 days ago. Now we add that to the information. Well, hold on. We add that to the information that we already knew and have reported on in early 2021 that there were 227 Antifa members, including John,
what's his name? The guy who sold the ship to CNN.
Yeah, the guy that egged fucking Ashley Babbitt to go through the window that he broke. So,
John Sullivan.
Thank you. Yes, John Sullivan, that fella, confirmed that there were 227 Antifa agents. So 227 plus 275 is 502. Just the basic numbers, roughly 2,000. That is more than a quarter. But anyway, please.
So here's the thing. That number does not include confidential informants. That includes...
Also that, yes, that's actual agents with badges.
And we know that there were a fuck ton of confidential informants, a bunch of CI sources that were out there in the crowd, including a shithead like, say, I don't know, One Ray Epps, who, as much as he wants to deny it, is still a guy who was there saying the dumb shit and was clearly being handled. So, like, it's so here's the one of the points that was made that I thought was, well, accurate, I think is the best way to say it. Even if Trump had been elected, or even if Trump had ultimately ended up being in office after that, say a recount happened, whatever the fuck, somehow we ended up with Trump in office, and somehow we had a Trump admin, even if, say, Kash Patel was the one who was in charge, and all that shit, in 2020 went a different way, and then 2021 early on went a different way. We still probably would not have had this information until now.
Well, we've never had it until now.
The point of that comment was not that, oh, well, I'm glad we have it now. That's still fucked up. It's still fucked up that we had to wait 4 years for this information. 4 years plus.
Mm-hmm. And again, 502 doesn't count assets.
Yeah.
How many more are there?
So now, keep in mind, only about 800-ish people went in.
If I'm going to be entirely honest, because that's what we do, and I got to fucking do this because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Of the Antifa, there is undoubtedly a strong crossover of assets. Let's be real. How many? No idea. None whatsoever. But the's probably at least a fair
we can be clear on proportions here. We can be clear on proportions. There was, about 1,800 people that were outside the Capitol building. About 800 people actually went in.
Mm-hmm.
Total. Including the grandmas smiling for the camera as they walked through the guided tour area.
Mm-hmm.
between the ropes.
Yeah, they were.
It's
they were
like
surprisingly
805
respectful.
or whatever was the count.
Didn't firebomb the place. Not like the
Right.
National Mall or the cathedral there.
It was like 805 people or whatever that got in, and it was like 1,800 something that was outside, I think.
I wonder how many of that.
Now I don't know. So that number, that pair of numbers, by the way, is a does not sum to maximum total. So it was like 1,800-ish outside, and the 800 and whatever it was that went inside did not come exclusively out of that 1,800, and the 1,800 outside, wasn't like that. That wasn't a fixed number. So it's probably on the order of like the 2,000 you said.
And this is just rough.
But it's probably a bit more than 2,000. But it's probably not a whole lot more than 2,000. Is what I was.
But of that, I mean, let's just call it that. Let's call it that, and let's just call it a round number 2,000. That's a fucking quarter of the entirety of everyone there. And let's go with what we know. Signals. Some 800 individuals inside. Of that 502 and that 800, how much crossover are we looking at? I have a feeling it's
well. I think the better question, right? Like obviously everybody wants to be like, were they instigators? That's the question they want to ask. I think a better question is, regardless of whether or not they're the instigators, why didn't they stop it from escalating?
Why did they not do de-escalation?
Indeed. Why didn't the two officers with automatic weapons right by that broken window stop Ashley Babbitt when they could have? When they could have said no.
Right. They could have absolutely revealed themselves and said, nope, you're breaking the law, buddy. Sorry. Right? Like and
things like hold back the fences when they were trying to push them forward to try and break them.
Instead of no, you can go in.
They could have done anything. So the question that we should be asking, that everybody should be asking, is not whether or not they were agitating, but why were they not de-escalating? Because somebody who's a trained law enforcement should have absolutely been doing stuff like that.
Sure.
And moving beyond the requests for backup that day from both state resources and the National Guard that were denied by the one in charge of making that call.
Who was that again? I think
that would be a particular Nancy Pelosi, which, by the way, if you're not following her trades and you're trading stocks, you're fucking up.
What are you talking about? My portfolio is doing awesome.
Well, and you're following Nancy, right?
No, not at all.
Well, you actually are. It's just how much.
No, he's probably just doing the inverse Kramer index.
That's possible. No, but there's even still.
No, I've got my own strategy. It works out really well.
No, that's fair.
Congratulations.
That said, though, if you are following Nancy Pelosi, which, by the way, there are tools out there where you can actually just trade directly with her, and I would recommend you use them because you will find yourself wealthy. But there are tools that you can use for that.
Power tools.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how effective those tools will or won't be, because she only has to update her findings quarterly. So you're not trading with her; you're just like trading with her after she announces.
Trading after her.
Oh no! There's actual tracker, like real-time trackers of her trades.
How?
They know the ID that she uses.
That's a good question.
How? All of that's absolutely private, confidential information. You don't get to know who makes what trade when and with what social security number. You have no access to that information.
You know what? That's actually a fair point, but I think it's part of the whole public figure thing that it actually has to be public.
Yeah, but the public figure thing those are quarterly statements.
Could be. I don't know how the magic is done.
She updates them weekly. You never know. I'm sure she doesn't do any more compliance than she has to, but maybe it's easy.
But I mean, realistically, I don't actually have all the answers to that. It's just to say that if you are trading with Nancy, you're going to be doing really well. Also, if you're trading against Jim Cramer, you're going to do really well. It's just kind of a given.
It's just historically very, very useful information for stocks.
And speaking of information,
what's Nancy doing? What's Cramer doing?
I don't know how useful this information is, but it's really funny. It's really, really funny.
Strapped in.
Oh, you're going to love this, because I'm totally coming out of fucking left field with this one. You see, we all saw that Donald went to England here just recently and hosted the king on his property. Hilariously enough.
Fuck the king.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, being American.
Oh, no, totally. You're going to love where I'm going with this. You see, Donald Trump's mother was born as a subject of the British Crown. And as a subject of the British Crown, her son holds certain rights and privileges that other normal individuals would not. And, well, you see, come 2029, when, Donald's not doing anything else, there's something else he could do. And that something else is run for the prime minister. Because he has every right, with his mother being a British subject. He does. And that would be the funniest fucking thing ever. I
thought just being Speaker of the House would be pretty fucking good, but that's
that would be pretty great.
That would be so fucking funny.
Look, he has to cut his teeth early. I think he should probably go ahead and take City Khan's job first. He should be mayor of London. But then, yeah, definitely hit PM.
But he legally has
oh my god! I have friends in England. I gotta tell that shit to. Like, hey guys, get ready.
It's good.
The real king is coming.
There you go.
Here's your daddy.
King Ralph. No. King Don.
The Don man cometh.
He does. But in Saturday,
take a whole new twist on that No Kings protest,
right?
Oh shit!
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be good.
Well, the funny thing is, and this is what I hear from, I hear whenever I listen to the British folks, they don't really have a conservative party.
Not really.
And so, and
they have pretty liberal.
The biggest, that's the question, right? Like, are they liberal, or do they get these policies forced upon them? Because every time they vote for something, they never get what they want.
No. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but
it's like I had this argument. I had this discussion over and over again with them over there, and it's like, well, you see, their politics are kind of backwards to ours. I'm like, okay, well, what it really looks like is like your politics only include one side of ours. And they went, oh, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so yeah, basically just liberals then. I said, yeah, but they're not libs. They're not Lib Dem.
No, we call them Labor.
Okay, yes, they're not the party. They're not the party, but they are liberal. Like, okay, yes, they have liberal politics. Thank you.
Yeah, we're the anti-bad guys. What are you talking about? Of course we can't do wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of can't do wrong, we should probably mention Apple and Google, which have made a choice, an interesting choice, because if we were to dial the show itself back to our reporting on this very similar matter, we reported on Rumble and Parler, actually, running afoul of Apple and Google, actually, and Gab, to be fair, and being oftentimes delisted. Well, there's a new app.
Much as Andrew Torba is a faggot, Gab did not do anything wrong in particular. So
yeah, think what you will.
What was it that? Yeah.
Think what you will. That's just the pure facts of the matter. There's not anything wrong done there. Now, if we're to look at where literal human deaths have actually occurred with bullets that have actual text written on them by actual terrorist assassins, then perhaps this statement I'm about to read to you would have a little weight. Apple and Google are refusing to suspend ICE tracking apps that were used by the Dallas shooter, the very Dallas shooter that, update, did not kill 2, injured, critically, mind, 2.
Killed 1 and injured 2, I believe was the
killed 1 illegal, injured critically 2 illegals, because that's a big damn gun with a big fucking bullet.
Yeah.
And he really hurt some, well, not innocent, but innocent from his point of view, individuals. Good fucking job, you fucking idiot. Was that what you really planned this whole time? Because if we're to believe certain pundits online, why, yes, actually, that is exactly what he planned the whole time, because he's a right-wing MAGA-T grifter, or whatever.
Oh, boy. Well, we don't have to listen to the Destinies and Hassans of the world.
Indeed we don't.
They are brainlets.
They are unwise, one might say. And you know what else is unwise?
Yeah.
You do. You already do. Because we gotta go there.
Apps.
But where am I going? There's so many Nintendo.
Oh, what a wonderful day.
Fucking Nintendo. Doug Bowser, why, brother?
Exactly.
Why did you have to go? Why did you have to retire? Everything has gotten worse.
Oh, come on, as if he was doing so much better.
Pal World.
I mean, it's not like it's going to become better. It's just like...
Pal World. And with that, I mention it because the new president has... it's actually an in-house hire. It's somebody that's moving up from within the ranks.
Yes, filling up.
Her name is Devin Pritchard. And you're never, ever going to guess which department she's moving up from. Well, I know. Perish the fucking thought. Legal. Huh. Of all things. The one who has been pushing all of this bullshit for basically the past 5 fucking years. Well,
like
she's the president.
Failing upwards.
As you do. So, I guess, if you'd like, if you feel so inclined, do please feel free to leave Fs in the chat or the comments below for Nintendo. They had a good run.
Like, she's... So here's the thing, is Nintendo needs a System Shock to either wake it up or kill it.
And we're not talking System Shock 64.
No.
No, they desperately need something that is... They need another Doug Bowser.
Well, you see, either they need to crash and burn and learn from the failure. They need to get rid of this kind of pernicious attitude from within the company, and they can't do that just by hiring outside talent. They need to promote it out of the place that's doing the most damage and see if they can get it to, like, go away.
One can only hope.
And yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Is it right now is pure hope.
Sadly.
And if I was an investor, I mean, I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm not expecting anything less than a full market correction on this person. Just to give it a kind euphemism.
Indeed. I mean, on that very same note, and not even...
I'm expecting them to fall back on earlier IPs, as it were, to try and balance their spreadsheets.
Yeah, Bats. I mean, we're kind of all in the same boat. It's like Nintendo has fallen so far that they got to get a punch to the teeth.
Oh, yeah.
They've got to learn that what they're doing is just wrong, and they have to course correct.
They don't get new customers by suing them out of existence.
That they don't. And just a
and
very
I gotta tell you,
super
this shit with
duper
Ryujinx,
quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, the shit with Ryujinx that I went
through
recently.
What's funny to me is if Nintendo was smart, they would have looked for a crossover and had a paid update where they actually sit there and get like a Kanto region thing with Kanto region Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And you could literally have like the original Pokemon.
That's what they do with Helldivers, dude.
Yeah.
Look at what they do with Helldivers and the Halo skins, right?
Yep.
Bringing in their battle rifle, like, this shit's pretty straightforward, and nobody's upset that they did that. everybody's fucking psyched that they did that. It's amazing. And that Nintendo is not going to learn from that at all.
Yep.
Well, on that same note, I mean, speaking of not learning a thing and actually learning a thing, what's that fucking game? It's got the animals
right
and they're like you've got the farm and you're in like a little community and you're trying to pay off the beaver or whatever that owns your farm. That thing. You know, that super popular little farming Nintendo game. Not Stardew Valley, not Harvest Moon, not Forager, not Harvestella, not Life in Willowdale, but the Nintendo game.
Animal Crossing.
Thank you. Yes, Animal Crossing. So that one game, which has been cloned a billion, gorillion times over before it even became Animal Crossing, you know, well, if you're a fan of Pal World, I'll have you know.
New patent?
Not yet. Just wait, though. It's
They're
Nintendo.
aren't they?
They'll get to it. So, Pal Farm. Well, yes. Pal Farm. You and your pals can have a cozy farm and, you know, just live a cozy life. Farming your stuff, having
Sounds fun.
It sounds like so many things.
Sounds like something to play with the kids, man.
It does. It sounds like a comfy, cozy game. Like so many very similar games that are already extant and not copyrighted, cough, on the market.
With game mechanics that are not patented?
Yeah. Yeah, unpatented game mechanics.
How quaint.
Yeah.
What a queer situation.
Isn't it, though?
Here.
Isn't it? I'll be very curious to see how Nintendo's Kathleen Kennedy handles this. If she calls up, you know, the guys down at Legal and says, hey, kill it, destroy it. That's our fucking enemy. Because I'll be honest, I would be unsurprised. If, yeah, you know, it wouldn't surprise me.
That's the vibe I get, man.
Because, and I'll be honest, this is absolutely Pal World going out and saying, what, bitch? What? I fucking dare you. And you know what? I approve of it. I approve of it. Because they are absolutely in the position right now, not only for their market share, but for their share of kind of the consumer mindset. Nintendo's fucking up. They're just fucking up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're overstepping. And that's just without even looking at things from a raw copyright standpoint, which they are fucking up hard. But that aside, you know, people are getting tired of this bullshit. And they don't want to deal with it anymore. And I don't know how well this one's... I think Nintendo might have to sit this one out. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Or, you know, what they could always do, they could try to make amends and say, like, hey, you guys want to, like, partner on a game?
Craig, I got to tell you, this stand-up routine you're working on, aces. You're going to fucking slay. This is going to just... They're going to kill. You're going to go out to San Francisco and run this thing, and they're going to be like, ho, 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 and they're going to die. They are going to literally laugh to death.
You know, you don't have to be cruel about it.
I'm just being realistic, my man. Speaking of realism and the West Coast, let's zoom in on Los Angeles.
I'm sorry, those are not circles that intersect on that Venn diagram.
They will in a second. They will in a second, my brother. You're going to love this. So let's zoom into Los Angeles, and let's zoom in onto the controller, a man by the name of Kenneth Mejia. And, well, you know, being the controller of Los Angeles County, he's going to be a pretty competent dude, you know, elected to the position to make sure that everything happens the right way, that monies are, you know, apported the right way.
Did you say the right way or the white way?
Mejia.
Uh-huh.
So, the yellow way. Anyway.
Maybe he hasn't seen this story.
Oh, actually, that's entirely possible. So this is really big stuff. So this guy was, he's the guy that would do the thing. He's not the comptroller, but he's like that guy. So what he would do is he's the guy that would look over homelessness and monies that are basically sent out over the city. He is the city's auditor, long and short. So instead of going with the city controller to run the audits on all these programs, which we've reported on as at a minimum, many, many millions of dollars missing and unaccounted for. Well, it would seem that Kenneth noticed the same thing, being in literally the city position to ask these questions. He did. And I will quote from Kenneth Medgia himself, how the city of Los Angeles spent millions of dollars to avoid transparency and accountability by, yours truly, Kenneth Medgia, your city controller. If you didn't know, the city of Los Angeles was sued over its homelessness efforts, and part of that case, the city had to undergo an audit. And instead of going with the independently elected city controller, who was the city's auditor, who actually would have done this for free, the city ended up paying $3 million to an outside firm who is an audit firm. Note again that this is the city controller, the auditor of business accounts for the city, who is employed specifically to do this job. They paid $3 million to some outside fucking faggots to make numbers happen. Continuing, quoting, So wow, here's another opportunity for oversight. And the plaintiffs suing the city actually recommended our office, the current city controller's office, to be a monitor. But the city of LA rejected that. They said, quote, nope, not you again. And I am quoting, that is literally the reply to Kenneth and his department. And so, my audit team, and I'm still quoting from his original quote. And so, my audit team, we have decades of experience in technical expertise with data of homelessness subject matter experts. We created the city's homelessness dashboard. We're also independent. So I thought, quote, wow, this would have been perfect. We're already doing this work, end quote. But no. The city decided they're going to pick the former city controller, my predecessor, and so I thought, quote, wow, it's not that they don't want the city controller. They don't want this city controller, me, Kenneth Medgia, the independent elected city controller, that you all wanted me to bring that transparency, accountability. How peculiar. How utterly and completely queer.
Strange indeed.
Fascinating state of affairs.
Although, same area, a little bit to the side, towards the coast, Palisades. Turns out that people are starting to get threatened with massive fines.
Oh, whatever for? In the Palisades.
Fire departments.
No.
You know what they're supposed to be doing right now? Because obviously they can't touch their fucking land under threat. They need to clear the brush or have it cleared for them because it's a fire hazard.
You don't say.
I just want you to let that one sink in for a minute.
Oh, the deliciousness.
This is a video I saw on fucking X. A lady who was very pissed off, explaining how her property needs to be cleared of brush, and that she was sent a letter by the fire department and said, if you don't do it, we'll do it for you, and we will charge you for it, and we'll charge you a fine for not doing it yourself. Like, they're going to charge her for the labor and time of these people clearing the land for her. The land she's not allowed to touch, by the way. She's not allowed to do anything to, improve it or rebuild the house. All that's illegal.
Oh, no.
But apparently,
just
she had
real
to go
quick,
out there
let me
with a
just
weed
pause
whacker.
you for just a half a moment here while I expand on that, because it's worth mentioning. In that, anyone who's trying to rebuild right now, they are absolutely hamstrung. The regulations, as stated, are you may rebuild exactly. You may make no changes. None. You have to build exactly as it was before. And then they're already starting to fuck people over with that.
And it has to be to code, right? It has to be to modern code, I thought.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't technically, but being a technicality, they like to play with it.
Right.
So, well, technically, it only has to meet the old code, but technically also, you might have to meet the current code. So obviously, we can't have you rebuild that old house. It doesn't. It doesn't meet current codes. It only says it has to meet code, and well, code is subjective. Well, it's absolutely fucking disgusting what they're doing.
Not entirely subjective.
Oh no, it's not. It's fucking hard and written.
But it is when you have two different codes to use. That's the problem.
Yep.
This is a thing that is endemic to California. My mother had to deal with it when she was doing hospital stuff out there. My brother deals with it doing his stuff out there. I know people from fucking undergrad who've had to deal with this shit out there. They have 3 different overlapping laws for the same shit, and all of them disagree in different ways.
Yeah.
That's just the bare minimum out there, is that they're going to have at least 3 different ways things are supposed to be done, and they're going to fuck you over 2 of the 3 of them at the very least.
And that's not even digging into the insurance issues, which we have discussed, which are on top of that, which is like, oh, well, a fire's not an act of God. A person said it.
Exactly.
So, we can't really call it an act of God.
They don't like people out there.
No, they don't. They really, really don't. You know who else doesn't like people? Women. Women who vote for Joe Biden. You know why they don't like people? I don't. Nobody does. It's a fucking mystery. But we do know some of the symptoms. And some of those symptoms, well, they would give us a headache. And you know what we might take for a headache? We might take Tylenol.
Tylenol.
And so might
I knew
they.
This was going to be coming up.
So might
I have something to say on this right at the get-go.
Real quick.
I do too.
Real quick. We don't have any confirmed issues. But we have some reports of issues of individuals making very, very foolish decisions.
Oh no, there is more than an anecdote. Okay, I can't go into detail on some of this stuff. This is that same kind of shit where I can't talk about some things that
hospital connections. Our lips are sealed.
Yes, right. So there are people doing stupid shit.
That said, I will be throwing a link in the Showlinks to a person that claims to be a nurse.
Either.
Her name is Nicole Sirotic, and she says she's a nurse. She says she doesn't say. She actually literally is the executive director of American Frontline Nurses, and she says that she's gotten call from people at the ICU of, at least in one case, a woman who has overdosed on Tylenol and is dying. Is dying.
This is a thing.
Not is in the hospital and needs treatment and might die. Is dying.
It's like this. Once you have fried your liver on
you
Tylenol,
you either need
a new liver. You need a new liver. 1. Mm-hmm. 2, you're not going to get it because you are now a suicide risk, and that makes you a very shit donor. A donor recipient. And 3, the death that it causes, that frying your liver happens if you don't get N-acetyl, whatever the fuck it is. Doesn't really matter. You don't get it within like 8 to 10 hours, and it should be by IV. By the way, you can't just take it over the counter supplement.
Yeah, don't be taking your pills.
You
already did that too much.
Well, you could do that. You could take an over-the-counter supplement. The absorption rate is shit. It's only got 5 to 10% bioavailability, and it's slower absorption. You want an IV so that it can do full circulation in the body.
You need that shit. When people say, put that shit directly in my veins, this is exactly what they're talking about. Because they don't want to fucking die.
This is the one.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem. And so sources confirm, so to speak here, pinch of salt and all, but I can state with confidence this is a big problem. Specifically for the dipshits doing it. It's not just pregnant women, it's more than that. There are dumb people.
There are.
But yeah, there's been an uptick. And it's The one that pisses me off is there's one nurse who said like there isn't an uptick. I haven't seen it. It's like, okay, nurse, you're supposed to be at least somewhat fluent in stats. You, the one example, don't fucking count.
I mean, so I'll be honest. The whole announcement was on Monday. I suspect it's a little bit early to have people realize they overdosed on Tylenol.
It takes about 72 hours to effectively kill you.
Yeah,
is the thing.
Right. So like over the weekend, people, the announcement comes out, then people sit there and have to film themselves. Like, there's a lag time here. Sure. I'm not saying it's necessarily a long lag time, but I'm a little bit skeptical considering I started seeing claims come out within about 24 hours.
So 72 hours is when necrosis has set in, and that's when people are screaming in the gurney.
And that said,
sure.
The post here is from the 24th.
Liver failure is not something where you're like, oh my God, I don't feel very good. It's like, 24 hours later, you're going to be like, oh shit, something's a little off.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this woman is in the hospital, basically.
And the problem is 24 hours later,
to read her quote specifically,
you're at least 16 hours
very
too
frantic
late.
call at 4 a.m. from a husband whose wife is now dying of liver failure on a ventilator in an ICU.
That one I don't really believe.
It's possible, but yeah, no, fair.
I just don't like that's not, you don't go on a ventilator for liver failure.
Okay, maybe not.
Well,
maybe not.
You do if they put you in a medical coma.
I mean,
also fair.
Maybe, but you're not on a ventilator because you're in liver failure.
Oh yeah, no,
or because you took Tylenol.
It's not a ventilator that's connected to your liver. That's true.
Right. So like it's this ancillary thing that
but just real quick, but dudes, real quick though, let us rewind, and I will include the link to the video.
We're also talking about a person who claims to be a nurse, so I'm not saying nurses are stupid, but they're not doctors.
Fair. But let's just rewind real quick back to a video, which I will include, but a video that is a compilation of videos of a bunch of fucking people that, not even like 3 months ago when we were told that seed oils are maybe kind of bad for you, or like, well, I'm going to drink a cup of canola. Well, I'm going to drink a cup of soy oil. And they fucking do. They really are that stupid that they will just fucking do it.
All you're going to do if you drink a cup of canola oil is have the runs. Like, that's going to be the worst thing you have in your day.
Well, the thing about it is, though, is that speaks to the kind of person that we're speaking of. They'll just fucking do it.
To deviate a little bit from this, one, I think that did you guys watch that press conference?
Which one?
I saw part of it.
Okay, so I think that press
it.
conference, I sat there and was thinking to myself, man, if only there was a way to remove the president and have somebody else sit there and run this country.
Oh,
because Trump was a fucking moron, and like
he gave medical advice at the end, or part of it.
He didn't even give medical advice. It was like the man shoots from the hip. The man shoots from the hip, but like there's a point in time where you just let smarter people talk for you, right?
Yeah,
like he would have looked infinitely smarter if he didn't.
Okay, fair. He is very bad about that.
He had part that he had part that he stayed on script, and then he had part where he went a little too far.
No, he never his script was terrible. His script was terrible. His whole entire thing was awful.
He had part where he was on point, and then he went past that, and he's just like, "Yeah, don't take it." It's like, okay,
nope. The whole you gotta tough it out. Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, that's not scripted. That's him shooting from the hip. 100%.
That was fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Now, as an individual who has a pregnant wife, so I can uniquely speak to this. There's a couple things that I think are important to discuss. One, Trump's an idiot and shouldn't speak, and we should remove him from office and have smarter people run the whole fucking thing.
Good luck with that.
Number one position. Second position.
I also like being able to fly, unfortunately.
Then jump out a window. Like what? Nobody's stopping you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a thing I can't do. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So in any case, the sooner we can get him out, the better. as far as I'm concerned. I think he demonstrated retardedness at such a scale that, the removal from office isn't bad. In any case, as for the rest of it, one of the big downsides so my wife had ended up getting a blood clot. It ran from her hip all the way to her calf. So she was in tremendous amounts of pain. We had to take Tylenol for about 2 days. It was rationed out. We made sure that it was you taking the extra strength stuff. At maximum, it was 6 hours, and the maximum, so the maximum was, or the minimum time between dosages was 6 hours. So it gave her a maximum dose of about 4,000 milligrams, and I think she took it for about 2.5 days before the blood thinners kicked in, and everything became tolerable again. So, one of the worst things about this whole scenario, and one of the reasons why Trump was even shittier as a human being for doing what he did, is that's the only thing that's available to women, right? If you are pregnant, that is the only identified drug.
It's the only over the counter. It's the only over the counter.
No, it's the only one that they'll give you. I went in, literally we're sitting there. She has a clot that's 2 feet fucking long, a DVT, causing tremendous pain, and they didn't give her a script for anything. They said, go take some Tylenol. That's the only approved painkiller. I am sure there's other stuff that was not available to her.
Is
for one reason or
what's
another.
in the spinal
the other,
they give
so
you
just
during
to
pregnancy?
hold up, just to give it the other major application is as a fever reducer, and I think
Sure.
there's like one or two other fever reducers that are one or two other antipyretics that are approved for use in pregnant women, and anything else besides Tylenol is prescription only and as an inpatient. In an inpatient setting where you're in the bed and they're monitoring you.
And maybe that's the case. Maybe that's all the caveats
but that's it. But that's it. There's nothing. It really isn't anything else.
So, it's kind of a shitty situation. The short version is, why is that? Well, the makers of Tylenol are the only ones who paid for a fucking study. So that's kind of that. We just haven't funded it. The HHS should absolutely be looking into that. But going back further, one of the reasons that I was super restrictive, even on her pain meds, even though she had a legitimate medical condition to go through, is that Tylenol has a very, very, very low active dose versus lethal dose.
Yeah, its therapeutic index is very small, which is not good.
I think I've even talked about it on this show, that I was vehemently against it. If it wasn't for the fact that it was the
old kind of stuff before.
What's that?
We've mentioned this kind of stuff before, specifically in the context of the dose makes the poison.
Yep.
And this is a great example of where the benefit of medicine and a poison are very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you this right off the top of my head, the acute toxic dose is about 140 or 150 milligrams per kilogram. That's like taking a handful for the mythical 70 kilogram average human. That's a handful of 20 pills.
Mm-hmm.
That's a toxic. The acute toxic dose is in less than 8 hours. So if less than 8 hours you take 20 pills, you've killed yourself.
And that's not
without intervention, without immediate intervention. Well, that's 2,500. That's extra strength, 2,500 milligram pills.
The extra strength is 500 milligrams.
It's about 10.5 grams is what is going to be the acute toxic dose.
10.5 grams will box a healthy person's liver and kidneys if you take that within a day.
So generally, chronic is less than 8 hours. Over 8 hours is the chronic toxic, and chronic toxic is anything above the 4 gram per day dose as an overdose. The thing about that is that means there is a range inside there in which you can take a dose that is too large over an extended period of time and still fry your liver without taking a massive mega dose at once. Which is why you should always take the lowest effective dose with something as acutely toxic as acetaminophen. Right. This is something that is not just like, this is something that we would know given our positions and our history and information. But this is not something that the common person is going to hear unless they hear it from their doctor.
Well, I would disagree with that. I learned about it from Penn and Teller's bullshit. Penn and Teller's bullshit covered that. It was in there.
Indeed.
They showed you the number of pills that was okay, and then they showed you the number of pills that were really bad.
It's not okay.
And the truth of the matter is that when it comes to Tylenol, that drug would not be approved for use under modern medical standards. The only reason
probably not
that it exists is because it is it has been grandfathered in. No, it's because it's been grandfathered in.
I'm gonna be facetious on that one and say that there are men out there who have a pregnant woman at home, and had they mentioned even slightly, were they on the board, even slightly, that maybe they could just tough it out.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a horrible.
That's gonna be a line for a long time.
like again, he should have just kept his fucking mouth shut.
If he gets impeached again, the first thing everybody should tell him is, "Hey, maybe you could tough it out."
Yeah, he learned a code.
Yeah, that would be great.
Here, there's a market for that.
True.
But that was fucking terrible. And again, right, this is a perfect example of all the feminist cries for attention, of all of them. This is a perfect example of an actual thing with women's health that is very bad, right?
You notice we are not doing cared about it just recently, as far as feminism goes.
No, that women didn't know that there was only one drug available, right? Most
women who have gone through a pregnancy have. Unfortunately, that's fortunately.
Yeah.
I should say, that's
and the reality, but that's also not your modern feminist.
Exactly.
But the bottom line is they never turn it. Yeah, you jump up on the counter, you get whacked.
Uh-oh.
Go fuck off.
Puppy being a puppy again.
Yep.
Here you go.
He decided that I hit him. Yeah, he's gonna go stand at the door of the kitchen. I hit him pretty good there. It's one thing when he does it when I'm not around. It's a whole other thing when he does it right while I'm right in front of him.
Lessons learned.
Go to bed.
Not to do.
Go. Blatant disrespect of the hierarchy. Motherfucker.
I had to explain that one to my mother before about who eats first. It's like me. I eat first. Dog can wait. Cat can wait.
Yeah, the dog eats last if he gets anything at all. He gets fed. He gets fed at the same time we do, but he gets fed dog food.
Yeah, he gets his kibble, but if he wants human food, he's going to have to sit there and wait.
Yep. So, I mean, this would be a perfect example where, oh shit, I have cheese curds and I accidentally got the garlic cheddar. I just like regular cheddar.
Oh no. What a tragedy.
Your night's
ruined. How will you ever recover from this?
I don't know, man.
Well, with counseling and group therapy, I think maybe we can
time
find
heals
a way
all wounds, they say. Perhaps someday.
They say.
Perhaps someday.
They say, but not garlic cheddar.
When will they know?
Garlic cheddar is terrible. I don't understand these people with their fancy cheeses. Cheese should come in smoke and cheddar flavors, and that's it. Everything else is an abomination unto God. And,
mozzarella is great on pizza. Don't you knock it.
What's that?
Well, that said, though, smoked mozzarella is even better.
That's correct. See, smoked variant.
Okay, fair.
I mean, he's kind of got a point here,
I do.
I'm okay with the smoked idea. All right.
Yeah. But that was the dumbest fucking thing. I watched him say it, and I was just sitting there and saying, man, I understand why the left hates him. If they didn't if they were rational about anything, that would be a perfectly fine thing. And I don't understand. Like, at no point, the point wasn't just that he said something retarded. That was bad. But that he was going through the entire thing, and at no point did the space that exists between his brain and his mouth activate and say, maybe this is a dumb thing to fucking say. At no point did that come online.
Well, the problem is, that's exactly what he would say to his wife if she was pregnant. Hey, can you just tough it out while I'm over here? Goddamn well that's exactly what she would hear.
I understand that Democrats are retarded, right? They prove it every day.
Right.
But don't give them fodder, man.
Here's the thing: is everybody's got to have their moment, and thankfully he has precious few significant ones in public. This was one of them.
What are you talking about? He has
dumbass moments. You know what I mean? Dumbass, not true dumbass moments. Not like a gaffe, but I really fucked up moment.
I guess if you want to constrain it as such, and you want to say that it's got to be a real fuck up to be a fuck up. I'm just saying,
moment. Everybody's got a moment, but you're not gonna have those moments that crystallize your career as being fucking stupid, every time, every day. Those come rare and thankfully far between for most people. I'd say that he's probably got a higher frequency of them, but sure, sure, but he's
usually whenever his mouth is moving.
Doing that daily.
Usually whenever his mouth is moving.
This is why it's good that he has smart people around him, except when he doesn't fucking use them. Yes.
On that note.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? All the people that I want to be in the government are in the government. Now we can send him on his way to the retirement home.
On that note, also, and say go home.
On that note, also, there's I've just ran across this. Apparently, this guy served twice.
Here's your commemorative presidential putter. See ya.
Yeah, well, or Charlie Kirk coin.
But that's golf, man. He has done the thing that we paid him to do.
Sorry, I had to poke it again.
Anyway, I've got something that I think is very thoughtful. We haven't even touched on it yet, but it's kind of looming, and we have to. The shutdown, because apparently a bunch of Dems want to make sure that illegal criminal aliens are able to get fucking health care or whatever.
Fuck the illegals. I don't care.
Yeah, fuck those guys. But more than that,
they're saying we're going to have massive layoffs of federal employees.
There are two things that they're trying to negotiate for, right? There's two things they're trying to negotiate for. One is it is approximately the Obamacare had these additional subsidies, and they were set to expire this year. And so when we go back to Obamacare, one of the things that they did to cut down on the cost, the OMB cost, right, was they had a whole bunch of shit kick in late that would, make the program supposedly better, but the time horizon would still be a 10-year span, but it kicked in outside of the OMB evaluation window. And so this dropped the cost of the bill. And so the Obamacare subsidies are in that portion. Right. That's how they got away with it. So these were supposed to kick in sometime because, the other thing too is I think Obamacare was a 2010 thing or 2009. I can't remember. 2009, 2010.
10, I think.
It was either way.
They rammed it in the middle of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they crammed that shit through.
Yeah.
But
So
I can't remember exactly.
They ran that.
Yeah, it was 10. It was 10 because 11 was when they got the new session and they wanted to cram it in.
And so to be fair to Obama, it was actually a brilliant strategy, right? It cost way too much money. Everybody would get sticker shock at the price tag. But the reality was he had to go build this huge exchange and a whole bunch of other stuff needed to happen. And so it wasn't.
The insurance industry isn't going to destroy itself. Somebody has to do it.
Right. So he punted this stuff out.
Delivered.
He punted this stuff out to somewhere around 2015, 2016 when it activated, because it would be a couple of years before the exchanges went in. And so the Democrats are looking for two things. to reverse the Medicaid cuts in the big beautiful bill, which was basically like there's stuff in there that I really liked and stuff in there that I really hated. But one of the things that I liked the most was we finally made cuts to our compulsory spending, right? Like that was a big deal that they actually made those cuts. And the Democrats are like, well, now that you've gotten the bill through, we would like to reverse this. And that would be like fiscally irresponsible because it's like $1.6 trillion that they're trying to
like fuck themselves.
Yeah.
That's the short
and
answer.
then on top of that, they want the Obamacare stuff extended. And the Obamacare stuff was set to expire this year anyway. So it's not like they're sitting there and trying to say it's we want health care because that's what their base kind of rallies around. But the reality is it's a perfect example of a program. The Obamacare thing has failed from the start. It's failed going forward. It has never been successful under any circumstances in any way.
Like communism.
And yet, every single time, they just try to subsidize it into a thing. Right? It was a giant failure all the way through. And I remember, I think my favorite comics that the left drew about it was that the Republicans were like sitting on this thing and not helping the Democrats prop up their giant vigil. And the point is that if your shit doesn't stand on its own, let it fail. And that's kind of what the Republicans just did. They said, you know what, that's perfectly fine. You passed this without us. We're not going to help you.
Good luck.
Right? Good fucking luck.
We see repeal and replace turned into just a series of small cuts that might help, and then finally this thing, the big beautiful bill.
You know, if you want to talk about like perfect examples of the Republicans sucking ass, how they handle when they had the power the first time, the fact that they're
still not doing it, you notice.
They spent 10 fucking years telling us all of the great things that they could do instead of Obamacare and how the market could sit there and improve things. And they did fucking nothing.
Well, hey.
Exactly.
Well, take this for some comfort. At least we have those Epstein files.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
There's some people with a sore anus now.
I mean, that's because he's in them.
Over that one. Well, that's the thing is the there was that what's his name? The guy who does the investigative journalism. There was a guy from who got caught on hidden camera, basically saying that the reason isn't that he's in them, but that other people are in them.
Yeah. I don't know if we reported on this last week because I don't think it had happened yet. But
we didn't.
No,
we did not.
Came down out
I did not.
Project
what
Veritas.
What are you talking about?
Project Veritas. I actually got a CIA agent or a CIA contractor on video.
No, it was an employee. I think that was just
contractor.
That it was an employee.
But they got a CIA
someone
person
who was in the know.
Yeah, to admit that no, actually, it's not the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein worked for. It was the CIA, actually.
Oh, and here's the other thing: is he worked for both the U.S. and for Israel, which sure,
surprising no one.
Right. Well, actually, I think probably surprised the hell out of a bunch of retards on the distant right.
Okay, Shields kind of okay, yeah, a bunch of the super Judeo-Christian, Yahweh Christians. Yeah, sure.
No. Keep in mind, like I said, like the Jake Shields kind of people. The
maybe
Israel
not
first,
exactly
but only because
that
they hate
specific person, but I get what you're saying.
Well, I mean, if they had thoughts, it'd be of sawdust, right? So. He was clearly a guy who was working.
Sawdust comes from wood, and perhaps the door was made of that. But anyway, going on.
So
wooden doors aren't good at hold. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, the point there being that he was clearly a man who was working more for himself, and he was a U.S. Intelligence asset, as well as an Israeli intelligence asset, who was clearly working the angle on both countries.
Oy vey.
Yeah. So, no love lost there as far as dealing with him and his bullshit. But Trump was not present during any of the
Any of the fuckery, shall we say.
Tomfoolery on the planes.
I like the word fuckery because it implies more. Bill Clinton.
Well, yeah, any of the no chuckle fuckery on the planes.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of
but the same could not be said of Clinton's, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, there's some words about that.
But they could say positively after all their interviews with victims that Trump was not involved, but that people that Trump knows are involved. People who Trump likes are likely involved.
Yeah, people that Trump doesn't like are
people that Trump doesn't like. People that Trump doesn't like are definitely involved.
You know, I mean,
so that's really
if I'm, and I can be actually completely honest with this. Now, what happens with the reporting or the sources that are reporting it? Well, I don't know, but there are sources that are reporting that at perhaps in the plane ride or upon arrival, Bill Clinton was personally involved in the rapes of minors. Now, this is just reporting,
so
I don't know what all that entails, but it's dark shit.
It's not going to end up with any like results on.
Oh fuck no.
So the other thing that was
just like a guy with a Nixon tattoo in between his shoulders, wearing a bull-headed mask, doing awful things on a particular island. Nothing will come of it. Anyway.
So the other side of it was that his victims were basically immediately paid off like $500,000, which is chump change in his circle.
Sure.
So what he would do is he would get to them. He would get to them.
And let's be honest,
if you
were a 17-year-old girl and your choice was to fuck a president and get $500,000, you'd do it.
13 for that matter. But yeah.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, I mean, you can really drop those numbers down.
I mean, you know, the lower the number on the one side, the more accepting they are of the big number on the other side. So I mean, really.
But again, this is when they were known to be considering talking to the police. They would just be given like $500,000 in hush money, and they would effectively be told like, you can. I think the intimation there was accept the money or die.
And there is some reporting that perhaps some people did not, and that those individuals might have been party to other activities that might have been more expensive for the parties involved in them. I don't know what more to make of that. All I can do is share the reporting. The absolutely horrifying and nightmarishly dark reporting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be very excited to get $500,000. Craig could play with my asshole for $500,000.
I don't think that would be enough to convince me to do that.
I'm just saying, Craig.
Don't you come up with $500,000? You got some gold in there, brother. You can pull that out.
It's all yours. You can ride the Hershey Highway.
You're fucked up.
You just got to pull out the Jew gold around your neck, and it's all yours.
I mean, you can have the fake bag. I'm not going to give you the real stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, Craig knows how it's run. He knows the deal. Oh, speaking of knowing the deal. Speaking of knowing the deal, we should probably rewind the whole thing and rewind it so far back that we hadn't even had a first broadcast. Yes, I know. In the before times. As a matter of fact, so far back, I'm going to quote something from July 3rd of 2017. I know.
Wait, this is the long ago?
In the grand scheme of current things, wherein one day is a bajillion years. Yes. But
is this the before Craig was sculpted out of clay moment?
No, I think that's how all. No, I'll be nice. Anyway, I don't think so.
I'm not a fucking dreidel, goddammit.
Actually, I was gonna say Gollum. Anyway,
you're not allowed to.
Yeah, I was going for Gollum too.
I know. Anyway, Shalom. Let's continue. Let's continue on to other topics. The past.
I'm sorry. Did I make it? Did I make it awkward?
And not the protocols of the past or of any particular elders of any particular place. Anyway.
Oh, the ones that were faked from Russia.
Or not. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Like, what are those things called? Smokestacks. Anyway, nonetheless.
Specific Oblast.
You know, I hear there was a guy that died in Argentina of old age. Anyway. So,
The fuck up! You're never gonna get to it.
One of these.
We got to be snarky again.
One of these. Anyway, quoting Tylenol. Tylenol at Tylenol on Twitter as of this time before.
Are you saying you have a headache?
You may, but if you do and you're pregnant,
that's not going to be an excuse.
I would like to read this statement from Tylenol, dated that is July 3rd, 2017, and that will be: we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. Oh.
Yep.
I mean, I gotta say this. There are a few drug companies who would come out and just say, take our drugs.
Take our drug while pregnant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, that said, they did the right thing by saying, we don't recommend this. That's possibly a bad idea.
If we're going to go back to the Tylenol story, right, and I sat there and I talked about how, my wife had to take it, and it's the only thing available, and this all fucking sucks, right? But the bigger question comes down to, is it safe during pregnancy? And the answer, at least for me, is I don't know. I'm not, from what I've seen is some studies
kind of common.
Some studies seem to indicate that it's an effect for autism. Some studies do not. And when you have that kind of mixed bag, the bottom line is the study methodology probably matters more than the object or subject being studied, right? That's the same thing with masks. It's the same protocol you have. If you're getting this kind of mix and match, the answer is maybe there's an effect there, maybe there isn't. Study methodology.
There was a meta-analysis that was done over, I think it was a 22 study meta-analysis that found a correlation. Which, again, that's the basis for a lot of research that follows after, is finding a correlation. And abundance of caution as a directive basically says, well, in that case, a new warning label, which is basically the effect, is what should come of that.
In
that sense, JFK or RFK Jr. is doing exactly what he should be doing in this case.
That was the craziest bit about that, is it's like, yeah. So he's basically doing what the FDA should have been doing since,
exactly
they first started finding this stuff. Now,
and this
does that mean that
these studies are over like 10 years?
Fucking dead.
These studies are over a 10-year period, so it's good that we know it now.
I've looked at the data on autism. Personally, I think it probably has to do with diagnostic criteria. Right when we started to see the spike, that was when the DSM-5 rolled out, and the DSM-5 took a whole bunch of different conditions and rolled them into autism. And there's a whole lot of people who were really pissed off at it at the time because there were specialized programs for their kid, because you had stuff like Asperger's and autism, and these were different things. And so when you rolled them all together, the end result was that a whole bunch of people lost funding if they weren't severe enough on the autism scale, even if they were Asperger's or nonverbal or whatever.
They lost all the specialization too. That's the other side of it. Is anything that was specific to Asperger's or to severe autism versus non-severe autism, high functioning versus low functioning.
Yep.
These things the ASD specification kind of wiped a lot of that detail out.
Yep. And the on top of that, if you need, if your kid is behind verbally, or your kid is behind, they need a speech therapist, or they need an auditory therapist, or they need something, which, by the way, can just be because your brain has developed weirdly. You can't go get a doctor for that. You have to go get a script. You have to get a diagnosis
for that matter too.
And
you might have been raised wrong. That is literally a thing.
Yep. The easiest one to get is autism. Right? You basically, everybody can be autistic.
Well, that's the thing is and this is the stuff we've talked about before, but they expand the definition and suddenly there's more of them. No shit.
Yep.
I mean that's the whole reason why we care about rise in incidence versus rise in population of a given disorder. Is the per capita diagnosis rate
what
substantially
per capita
different,
mean? I not understand per capita.
Including the circumstances of change in definition. And the fact is that with autism, the rise wasn't there. And the same thing so it's silly because in the 90s we had these, the big rise in ADHD and ADD, and that was largely from overprescription due to a bunch of soccer moms who wouldn't leave the fucking doctor's office without one.
Yep.
Without a diagnosis. And autism, we changed the definition, and suddenly there was a change in the population that was fitting the definition. Holy shit.
Yep.
So it's hopefully we're going to see a little bit of better attention paid to maybe some of the distinguishing differences in the populations covered under ASD, and maybe there be a return towards helping out people in the ways that better fit them. I'll have to hold my breath a little bit on that.
God forbid we roll back to the DSM.
Out of all this was, the DSM gets crazier every time. But again, the funniest thing out of all of this was that of all the people involved, RFK did precisely what he was supposed to do.
Yeah,
the person that everyone has been, and admittedly, he has been doing some goofy things. So I'll agree with my liberal. He's not a hippie, but he's close enough to the hippie. My liberal hippie-ish friend. Like, he's upset with RFK over certain things, certain CDC firings, for example. And, fine. That's fair point, fair play. A lot of that ends up boiling down to politics shit, too, where it shouldn't. But this is one of those things where he did exactly what he should do. And he's getting lampooned for it, when the person who's at most fault here for doing anything wrong is just Trump for having himself a gaffe. Like, and what a fucking hell of a gaffe, too.
That's not a gaffe.
A retard moment, man.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about retard moments,
he said exactly what he meant.
He had himself a big old Biden. I don't care if it's what he meant. It was still stupid. And that's exactly what you would say, too. It was fucking stupid.
It was absolutely stupid. Just not a gaffe.
Come on, we got to have the adoption for the modern meaning here. We had a president who was basically President Gaff.
No, he was president, zombie.
Well, speaking of zombie presidents, apparently there has been a recent...
that guy would have starred in The Walking Dead, and we would have been like, wow, that one's really realistic.
Hey, look, some people are really big fans of
John
the
Romero
Weekend at
came back from
Biden's
the dead for
series and, find it entertaining. But anyway, somewhat related, actually, or,
somewhat.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're talking about brain dead. So, yeah, it's totally related.
Okay.
So the suspect at the... okay, I guess I should provide a little bit of context if somehow some people...
Oh, we got our suspect, all right.
Yeah, ABC. So, there was a thing that happened over the past, I don't know, fucking like 8 years, that being Jimmy Kimmel isn't fucking funny.
Oh,
he's just a fucking loser that says a bunch of words in order.
Did you see his ratings recently? Because I have.
We'll get there. 70%.
I know you're getting to it.
We'll get there. But yes. So what happened is he's losing some millions of dollars every single fucking day that the show goes on. And so the show gets canceled.
What's going to happen when he gets canceled again for still sucking?
I wonder.
Oh, it's going to be a free speech thing, right?
There. We'll get there because we are on a timeline. And we're going to play it out play by play. So,
timeline. Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Timer?
yes. So, Jimmy Kimmel says some words over the course of 8 years, and none of them hit, and nobody cares. And so he is losing money every single day, every single week. And then he says some words that people find somewhat... also that, yes. But then he says some words... We'll get to the coercion part. But then he says some words that a lot of people are like, what the fuck, Jimmy? What the fuck is wrong with you, faggot? What the fuck? Fuck you. I'm done.
Okay, so Valley Girl, got it.
Yeah. More than normal, even. And so ABC, well, I shouldn't say that. So Bob Iger is like, look, Jimmy, buddy, you done fucked up. You fucked up so fucking bad that we can't let this continue. You're done. Bob Iger, as a reminder, head of Disney, owner of ABC. This came from the fucking top. It did. You can't argue it. That's just the truth of things.
So, not the FTC.
No.
Not the FCC, rather.
No, sorry, it wasn't Brendan Carr. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Sinclair. It was Sinclair.
Gosh.
Oh, it was Nexstar.
Oh gosh. They just decided to serve their fucking customers. Anyways, this came from the top, and they're like, look, you're losing us money every fucking week. You're done. We can't do this anymore. And then what happens? Then some crazy fucking nut job pulls out their fucking gun, drives by some fucking station in California, is like, pow! Pippity pip pip pop out. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
This is going to solve it. This is going to make Jimmy come back.
Well, funny enough, terrorism works on people that have no fucking spine at all. So yeah, Jimmy's back.
I'm curious.
And
is
just
that
as a
the timeline of events? Is that what specifically immediately preceded?
And just as a quick little notarino on that. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, so many people tuned in to hear his
How many people tuned
apology.
In?
Well, more than normal. And that's what we'll leave it at. Now, the normal number.
How many people tuned in the next episode?
About 30%.
Less than normal.
About 30%.
So I watched his apology. I watched his apology.
Quote, apology.
Yes, exactly. Exactly the point that was going to be pressed on. He didn't fucking apologize.
Yeah, he said some fucking words.
He said he mouthed some words and hoped that they would go together properly, and of course they didn't because he didn't fucking believe anything he was saying. That jackass absolutely knew what the fuck he was saying, and he did the exact same thing every fucking pundit did that was trying to get people to miss the point entirely the way they did. It wasn't the fact that he made a joke, it was the fact that he went ahead and implied with full fucking knowledge of the opposite being the truth. That it was somebody he politically disagreed with that was pushed forward to do that kind of shit.
And let's talk about somebody that
you knew damn well what was going on.
Oh yeah.
You had a whole room of writers and you overrode them to say that dumb shit. And then when you got pressed on that pushback, you said, "I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to say more next time." And that's when they kicked you off.
Yep.
You should have fucking sat down and accepted it. But no, he goes out there, he has his non-apology, and he walks that shit back. The guy's a dirtbag.
Oh, completely.
Like I don't care what his buddy says. I mean, I know that he, from the Man Show, he's,
Oh, you mean when he did the blackface?
Friends. Yeah. Yes, when he did the blackface and he said, "Reach into my pocket and guess what I have."
Oh, you mean when he would like grope women and stuff? When that Man Show?
Yeah, that shit.
Oh, peculiar.
Guess what's in my front pocket? What an interesting game he played.
Truly.
That's my favorite game.
It's a good game. I mean, respectable people can play it respectably. Anyway, speaking of respectable people and complete fucking lack thereof, let's dig back in because somebody fired those shots. And who was that somebody? His name is Al Hernandez Santana. And Al is a big old supporter of human rights infringements. Let me see here. Let me read from him directly. Gun violence in the USA is the most important social issue of our time. You don't fucking say, Al. Is that a fucking fact?
I just want to parse this. So, to address gun violence in the USA, he decided to...
Gun violence?
He decided to shoot up a TV station.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Did they give him a bad interview? Or...
The funniest part of all, ABC said to that, you know what? Terrorism works. You're good. Jimmy's back. What
I'm trying
the actual fuck are we fucking doing here?
Trying to figure out I know that there's no logic to this, and this is a criticism I have a lot of people, especially on the left of recent, who have tried to excuse bad behaviors of deranged people by demanding that they somehow conform to rational, coherent thought. And so therefore the insane thing they did would not have been possible because of the way that they were talking or whatever.
Surely not. We don't live in that kind of world.
That's
right?
already an issue. But again, I'm trying to parse here. In the same vein here, I'm trying to parse what exactly pushed the button that made this person consider that if they went ahead and shot up an ABC TV station, that this was going to make their life better, that their goals would be achieved.
Well,
clearly,
I wish I could say that they chose wrong. I wish I could.
That's the thing.
I fucking really fucking do.
Like that's the part I'm kind of homing in on here is clearly there was a thought process of one variety here that impinged upon another in a way that did not make them not do something insane. There's the wires that crossed. Of the wires that crossed, the ignition missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating people. Fascinating times.
We live in interesting times. We certainly do.
It'd be nice if they weren't quite so interesting, but here they are.
It would. It truly would. And on that note, and on that very note of the interesting times in which we find ourselves, well, it would appear that our enemies aren't just internet eunuchs. No. How could it be? It wasn't just some betitted man who held a grudge because we bothered to mention how unkempt his bedroom was? Why, no. Was it Troonshiners? No, sir. No? It would appear this came from the top. The very tippity top. YouTube admits having censored people.
Have you gotten the letter yet? Have you gotten yourself your email?
And for political reasons, offering terminated creators the opportunity to join the platform.
I've got a bone to pick on that thought.
Don't we all? So, real quick,
right?
Everything's going to be made whole. You're going to be made right. It's all going to be good. We're going to fix it. It's all fixed. It's all good, according to YouTube. But
I want to know what fucking list and when.
But Craig, what were you going to say there, my brother?
I want to know what fucking list and when.
Don't we all? Because
we were
two notorious
this
individuals, one of which is no fan of us, and honestly, us no fan of him. Nick Fuentes. He has the right and deserves the right to speak. And it has been denied him. And the other, I like the guy. He's a good guy. As a matter of fact, I think in the past few days, he's been sporting an incredibly stylish mustache and saying some important things. But that aside, Alex Jones, great guy, has a lot of worthwhile things to say.
My God, that fucking skit. I know what you're talking about now. Jesus Christ, dude.
He really pulled off the vintage aesthetic.
He pulled it off. But Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, as we all know, the chemicals in the water are in fact turning the frogs gay. What a time. What a time. Oh, also, just a quick reminder, I will be throwing a link to this for everyone that's curious, is to the, of course, the, everybody's heard of the UN, United Nations. Some things happened there recently. We mentioned them. But I'll be throwing something out for you from the Population Division and the Department of Economic and Social Affairs of the United States.
So I got hit with the warning that my battery is low and I should please charge now. So
not a problem. We'll
I
get
do
close
not have another headset.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. We're getting near the end. We'll go ahead and just throw this out for everyone who obviously has never ever heard any such thing.
suddenly cut off. That's why.
No worries. Well, if we lose him, give Craig a follow at CraigBob99. If we don't, he'll sign off with me. But anyway, that said, we've got an interesting 177-page report out of the UN, placed by the UN via the Population Division in the Department of Economic and Social Affairs of the United Nations Secretariat, entitled what? Replacement Migration. That's all. I'll just include a link so that you can read over it, in case you thought that it was in some way farcical or non-real.
I'll say this on that kind of subject. Oftentimes the contextual use of those.
There's nuance to you will own nothing and you will be happy, but it's important that you know the feelings.
Sometimes there's nuance to the way that those keywords are used in the context that they're used in. That is missed in the meaning of their usage.
Oh, that's fair.
And that's while it's fun to have the play on words, we should be wary of that, so that when inevitably the defense, that's not what was meant, you just don't understand, was used, the refrain, well, this is specifically what you said, and this is what you meant when you said it, should be the response instead.
That is why we're here at the end of the day, to provide the necessary context that is more often than not utterly lacking in the common discourse.
With that preamble to the follow-up, so to speak. That's just, okay.
And of course, that also being said, we do like to close out our shows with a little bit of positive news and a little bit of a positive vibe. Now, I'm not going to start out with the current best news because it's not good news, but the fact that we can say it with certainty is incredibly important. And that is one Barry Soetoro, a alleged Kenyan, who may or may not be, who may or may not have an alleged forged birth certificate, but that's not the topic for now. Barack Obama has he's developed a bit of a memory problem. You see, he's forgetting things, and he's calling out Disney, Nexstar, and Sinclair for their provably false and inflammatory lies.
I have an idea what he's forgetting.
Yeah. He's forgetting Operation what? Choke point. Motherfucker, you got blood on your hands. Actual human fucking blood. You got a lot of room to talk. So, Operation Choke Point, long and short, it did a lot of damage to American institutions, businesses, and platforms, and is only now really kind of being wrapped up. It was used throughout the original Trump admin and then on through the Biden administration. And it's been a long time coming to get this shit resolved. So it's not so much good news, but we can report on real news. And it's important because now we can. And this is going to go up on YouTube. And it's just going to stay there. Because finally, fucking finally, we can say a little bit of truth on most of our platforms. So
I still think it was probably Lucas John Roberts.
Oh, yeah, no. A lot of this falls on Internet Unix. But that said, the systems were in place for said Internet Unix to absolutely persecute us.
I do forget to mention him, but Lizard Dongon as well.
Sure.
Just want to make sure that he's got his name out there.
Yeah, fair. But as I said, we like to close out with good news, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So let me just paste that one there. Okay, from the Department of Health and Human Services at POTUS and at Secretary Kennedy are putting an end to misleading drug ads and making sure Americans get all the facts. I'll read from the release. Ending big pharma deception. Drug ads drive up drug costs. Direct-to-consumer drug advertising steers patients towards higher-cost drugs over generics or alternatives, which can increase the amount patients have to pay. DTC can increase drug spending $400 per patient annually. DTC advertising may be responsible for 19% growth in drug costs between 1995 and 2007. Of the $560 billion spent on drugs in Medicare, more than half is on DTC advertised drugs via HHS. Thank you, President Trump and Secretary Kennedy, for ending deceptive drug ads. What has happened now?
Here's something to say on that, real quick.
Give me a half a second. Now, it hadn't happened yet, but this aims to rein in Big Pharma's freedom to advertise across American media. But anyway, what were you going to say, my brother?
So, this does wax a little bit conspiratorial, if you will, but it also is based on pragmatic, kind of self-evident behavior of these companies. Oftentimes, the patients of doctors are not going to be largely swayed by a drug ad, and people don't walk in to a doctor's office and say, "Hey, I saw Paxlovid or whatever the fuck on TV. Can you give me some of that?" It's generally not
the
how
other
it
part
goes.
of that, which
Instead, what happens.
Well, the other part, which we've reported on,
yeah,
and bears mentioning actually right now, is the drug reps and their direct connections to doctors.
Well, so again, that is not so much the issue at hand for that. It's a problem.
It's another cog.
The point I'm getting to for the advertising specifically is that they're not buying customers' attention to a drug at the doctor's office so much as they're buying effectively silence from a media organization which is dependent on their ad dollars.
Precisely that. They're throwing money at the people that might otherwise question their motives.
Again, it waxes a bit conspiratorial.
Not really.
But if your bread's getting buttered, then you're not going to ask the questions so often.
I mean, let's be honest, that's not really that conspiratorial. That's kind of just
exactly.
business.
Well, it lacks.
Could it be? Yes.
Concrete.
Could there be nothing there at all? Possible. Unlikely, but possible.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't smell clean.
It lacks the concreteness of a smoking gun.
It smells dirty.
But it certainly is the ammunition that would be put into it.
Mm-hmm. Like we don't see the gun, but we see a box of bullets.
See a box of bullets and say the name
and a couple of them are missing.
People, and some of the names of specific people and things that they said etched into a few of them.
Indeed, carved in some cases. Anyway, as I like,
anti-ice rather. Free hat.
Bro, he thought he was doing an enchantment, and it just didn't play.
Oh my god. Did you see the fucking cope coming out of Hassan, whose fucking event was named Anti-Ice? By the way.
Hassan is a true character.
The poster had in big, bold fucking letters at the top of it, Anti-Ice.
It's a funny world. Funny
world. He's real upset that people pointed that out.
Hassan is a very upset man that people are noticing things that are very clear and evident for anyone that has eyes that can see to notice.
Right in front of my good seeing eyes? Yeah.
Yep. Those darned old lion eyes. Just telling you things that you're seeing. Can you really believe it? Well, I've got some wild shit that you're gonna maybe not be able to believe.
Oh, I'm learning I can believe all kinds of shit daily.
Now that's true, because we are forced to confront things that perhaps we thought we might not otherwise have to. Oh, man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Oh, you silly goobers. It's like you wanted to make butter out of slop water and air, but that's another story. But not so far off. Anyway, our man Snoop Dogg, the smokity man himself, has issued a statement of regret, as a matter of fact, about his ties with a particular vax-friendly man. A man by the name of Bill Gates, as a matter of fact. His specific statements are, I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. Because of late, Mr. Bill, Slick Willie, if you like, Slick Willie Gates, good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, multiple visitor to not only the island, but the ranch as well. Good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates, well, he's got a little bit of baggage of late. He's had a hand in all sorts of things, like engineering mosquitoes that don't do anything.
I'm out. I can't hear you guys at all.
Oh, shit. So, that was the line.
Have a great week.
Yes. So, everybody, that was Craig at CraigBob99. Give him a follow. Give him a like. Give him a hug if you feel so inclined. He could probably use one. But
he doesn't like hugs.
We don't have verification of that. We don't have verification. He might
like shekels. You got to give him shekels.
Now, if you give him a shekel, he'll probably be totally kosher with a hug. Let's be real.
That's probably true. He accepts, shekels for hugs.
But in other good news, we have a little bit of info out of Hungary, which is not actually following. They set the lead on this one. They did the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization and a, quote, grave threat, which is literally correct and should be followed suit in every civilized nation of the world as quick as fucking possible. We don't need brown shirts. Do not. At all. So, with that, what else have I got? I've got, I don't know. I guess I got some little interesting stuff. That being that we got something cool out of HUD, our Housing and Urban Development. Scott Turner, Secretary of HUD, is now requiring proof of citizenship for any and all tenants of any Section 8 housing, and is removing all illegals from Section 8. And this, of course, in addition to reporting that we had last week that all data will now be presented in the official language of America, English only. So, interesting time.
I would love, I appreciate them doing this, but I want them to publish the data.
I agree.
They need to say how many people were excluded from. Yeah.
We need hard numbers because without them, it's all guesswork. Really,
it's all guesswork. Yep. And not only that, but it'll give the left a talking point, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you turn around and say, "Oh, well, that was no," they'll just sit there and say that wasn't any proportion of the population. So if it turns out that he got rid of 1 million people, well, that's a big deal. If he got rid of 5, that's not really a big deal, and it's nothing more than a virtue signal.
Fair. But with that, it is a little late, and so, you know what? Yeah, you know what? This is kind of a cool update. We don't know what'll come of it, who they are, per se, who they are, but Russia has made a vow to seize the assets of, quote, international Satanists, and, well, I can see nothing but humorous results. So I'll be keeping an eye on that personally, just if nothing else, then for the humor of whatever results of it. But that said, I think we've hit all the high points we were wanting to hit. Was there anything you were wanting to mention specifically, Steve?
No, I think we got everything this week.
Sweet. Well, everybody, been an absolute pleasure. Thank you ever so kindly for tuning in. Make sure that you are following, and make sure, more importantly, that you're sharing the show links with everybody. We're putting out good stuff, and we're putting it out way ahead of anybody else. So, might as well gloat. You got the heads up on everything. Tell everybody. So, thank you for real, from the bottom of my heart. As said, you can find Craig at CraigBob99. You can find my man Steve here at Ratman720. I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. It has been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back again real soon. Sooner than you think. I got American McGee lined up for the week. It's going to be a cool interview. We're going to be talking about some of the shit that's going on with him. That shit being, well, he did a completely prudent business move, and the usual suspects took horrifying offense. Who's surprised? See you soon. All my love.